Why is it not letting me connect on VOP on radio? That's not good.
Hmm.
All right, I may have to message Dan and see what's up with that. So,
All right. Well, we are live on the Yard of Stream.
the art of stream.
Yes, the Yard of Streams.
Jesus Christ!
It's the final show of the year.
And how ironic is it that we do a Saturday show and the end of the year is on a Saturday? So,
I know, because it was crazy. Because our first show ever was I was gonna say our first show ever was on, but that was
I think it was actually New Year's Day, wasn't it?
I think it was either New Year's Day or January 2nd. So, like I say, I caught myself right in the middle of saying that.
Maybe it was the second.
I think it may have been. I'd have to look back, but
either way, happy 2 years to Metalheads Unite. So
hell yeah, man! two full years of this show, basically 102 episodes, because there's only been 2 Saturdays that we've missed the whole time we've been doing this. So
yeah, so it's been only
yeah. If there's one thing we've been, it's pretty consistent. I don't know if we've been good, but we've been consistent.
It's true. I'm letting them know I can't connect on radio.co to see if there's an issue with some scheduling issues there. Maybe they didn't do. Well, maybe we're not using them anymore. We didn't get told. So.
Ooh. Wow. That would be odd.
It would be, but like I said, it could be. Like I said, Boss Man is busy, so
he is very busy. That is very.
He could have. Well, the thing is, it could have been like a. I don't know the contract on that end, so
that's also true.
That could have been that could be coming to an end, and he working on something new. I don't know, but I know he's working on doing everything through VOP, so we're not having to depend on anybody outside of the network. So
that would be nice.
Which would be good.
Everything consolidated in one place. That would be nice.
So it'd be great for us. We can get all those clicks in one place. Actually, make the big game able to do something somewhere.
That's true. Yep, that's true. But yes, we do want to welcome everybody into the Metalheads Unite podcast. We thank everybody for joining us. Here we are. Like Jason said, we're down to the end of 2022, and we're also down to the end of the second year of the Metalheads Unite podcast. It's kind of crazy that we've gotten to this point so quickly, really. I mean, it doesn't really seem like we've been doing this for 2 full years, but
it's definitely been a flyby.
It has been a whirlwind, but I mean, it's been an absolute blast, just everything we've done, especially this past year, the amount of bands that that came on the show, the amount of shows we got to go see, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And so been pretty amazing. Excuse me.
And I just want to throw this out there real quick. We'll bring this up again, but for anybody in the listening area that wants to come out and meet us, we will be at the Rockin' Pod Expo in March 17th to the 19th at the Nashville Fairgrounds. So, come out and talk to us, meet us. We'll be out there for 3 full days. So, that's going to be interesting.
It'll definitely be interesting. So obviously, I would say we would. Odds are probably pretty good. We'll be doing the show live from Nashville that day. So maybe, of course, we don't know how this is going to go. This is going to be the first time we've been to this in general, let alone be an actual, what would you call us? we're gonna be an actual exhibit at the expo. Let's put it that way. So
we're gonna be on display for all of you to see.
So who knows? I mean, maybe we can get some of the people who are attending.
You'd be like, here, folks, we're having take you into the podcast segment of the tour here. And on the right, you'll see the two guys from Metalheads Unite.
That's right. Don't stick your hand in the cage. Don't do that. But yes, I mean that's definitely going to be interesting. That is, I mean, unless anything changes between now and then, that'll be probably like the first major thing for 2023.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're always reaching out to see if bands want to come on. I'm sure we'll have a few interviews before then. Not that those aren't major things, but as far as not doing the normal format of the show, I would think the expo in Nashville is probably the first huge thing for 23. And of course, we got a couple of things in the pipeline that some of our friends want us to do. Yeah. Dana over at Metal and Tats has invited us down to Florida for the Metal and Tats Florida Invasion Tour, and we do have an invitation for this upcoming fall to go to the Northeast for something. I don't really want to put out the details for that yet, because not even 100% sure that the event is going to happen. I'd say odds are probably pretty good that it'll happen.
Oh well, yeah, because I mean those guys are pretty much to their word. So if they've already got that planned out, then it's going to happen. So
yeah, well,
they're actually wanting us to sponsor them on a tour to come to Nashville, but we don't have that kind of money. So unfortunately, but I'd love to do that.
Oh, I'd absolutely love to do it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be nothing greater than to see Metalheads Unite sponsoring a show.
Mm-hmm. Man, that would be one of the you would probably say, as far as like goals for the show, that would probably be one of them. Metalheads Unite presents, and then
a band. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so cool. that would be up there. So we're definitely not saying no to that. We're just not exactly sure how the logistics of it would work.
Right.
For us. But we are definitely down. So.
But with sponsoring it, we can go up there and grab the mic in the mid show too. Like, give me that.
Yeah. Get up there and go. Everybody know Taylor Swift had the greatest album of all time.
Oh my God! And hopefully Yngwie Malmsteen was in the building. So.
That's right. Yeah. I'm telling you. But before we get to all that stuff in 2023, we have to wrap up this past year, and thank God we're getting rid of this year.
Oh yeah, this year was that bad?
Not really. I mean, actually, compared to 20 and 21, actually, no, we're kind of. I would say we're probably doing this compared to like the way 20 and 21 went. We're trending upward, I would say, but it definitely wasn't for the lack of metal that we got to listen to this year.
It definitely
that is for damn sure.
Yeah, I had like my list compiled to kind of break my top 10 down, and like. I mean, just to let everybody know how difficult it was, I made the honorable mention list so I could tell everybody what didn't make the list. So that lets you know about how good the music was this year. It was
ridiculous.
It was freaking amazing. Like, it was like, this is the most difficult time I've ever had to like say, oh well, of course, don't get me wrong, we've gotten a lot of information. Over the last 2 years, it's gotten better. So I mean, if we'd have had the information we had, when we started this thing, then we would probably be having the same issues every year. Which I actually plan, don't expect anything less going forward is to have this much difficulty. So,
Oh yeah, but I mean, and I hate, because like where I work, they say this shit all the time, and it drives me nuts. But I mean, if that is an issue that we have going forward at this time every year, then that's an issue that I'd be okay with.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Because I don't know, because like you and I, we had texted back and forth about it, but I've got my list right here, and I guarantee you this is probably draft number 10 or 12 of my top 10 list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, without giving anything away, this is my scratch paper from from trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah. Because over
I changed it about 3 times. I was just like, oh no. Like,
because I mean, like,
because I want to put them all in there. I just want to want to do a top 30 or something. And be done with it. But,
every album is album of the year. I mean, that's almost kind of how you feel like you want to do it. But like over the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to put this thing together, and a couple days will go by, like, all right, I think I got it, and then I'm going through all my notes, like, fuck, I forgot that album, and so you're going through, it's like, I got it, shit, I don't got it, okay, now I got it, damn it, I don't got it, so
even the bad thing is if you go by and like, oh man, I'd like to put all the guests on the show. Well, we had 12 guests, so
right, yeah.
So you can't put everybody on the list still, so which is unfortunate because everybody that we had on the show had amazing albums this year.
Yeah,
and everybody that we talked to is actually on here. Just like I said, I had to be honest with myself and put the 10 that I thought was best to me. So,
well, yeah. I mean, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, now, maybe next year we'll do a top 23 of 23 or something. Maybe that'll be easier.
Oh, there's an idea. There's an idea. Looking ahead to next December. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Of course, planning
for our future.
Hey. Always, I mean, hell, we always need to be looking ahead, in general. But I mean, we already do know that this is going to be the last week for one segment. This will be the final week of our This Week in Metal History segment. So,
I mean, like I said, unless it's something that we'll bring up some big news, every once in a while. Sure. Anniversary of Randy Rose's death and Dimebag's death and stuff like that.
Ozzy biting the head off the back.
Yeah, I mean something.
Yeah, but I mean we're not going to be doing the historical album releases anymore after this and stuff like that. So we're retiring that segment after 2 full years. We've already got, I know, one idea for a new segment that we've already talked about. So we're not going to give that away yet because you have to tune in next week to see what that's all about. And the funny thing is if we do decide to go with that new segment, I've already got my first content for it. So
there we go. So obviously we're going to go with that since you already got content. So yeah. We don't want any wasted motions here. So
that's true. That's also true.
Oh man! I guess we'll kick this bad boy off. We got a couple of stories, and like I said, the last of the week in metal history. In our playlist, we're still doing a playlist this week, so you have plenty of content for new music options, that's for sure. So, and if we go down the albums, there's probably going to be some stuff there that you may have missed throughout the year. So,
the amount of, and we spoke on this a little bit, at the beginning of the show a few minutes ago. I mean, the amount of music that Jason and I listened to compared to the amount of music that came out is ridiculous. Because I mean, the amount of releases from Heavy Music HQ this year, I mean, just.
And we still only listen to a fraction of what was out there. So
I mean, you want to just talk about dropping the bucket.
Yeah.
For just two guys who have full-time jobs in addition to this, full-time jobs, marriages and kids and all that stuff. I mean, I think for us to be able to listen to the amount of music we did is actually pretty incredible.
Yeah. But I go back and listen to, like, even when I got my Spotify, year in review thing, I'm just like, damn, damn, I have no life. But
well, it's not that you don't have no life. You had up until the last couple months of the year, you had a really long commute. So I mean,
yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Too, yeah,
you could listen to one album on the way to work, one album on the way home.
Back,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
so,
it was like 70-something thousand hours or something. I'm like, God.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It was something ridiculous. I was just like, wow, that's freaking crazy. 50,000. I don't remember what it was. I just remember I was just looking at it going, wow, that's too much time. But I say that, but it's not. I mean, it's probably really not enough time. But
well, it's definitely not enough time because I mean, like I say, the amount of albums that came out that we weren't able to get to. So, and I don't really, obviously, I don't see that changing in 2023, especially.
Well, no, actually, we're going to do a little segment later and talk about that. We'll talk about that a little bit. So,
yeah, we are.
Well, let's get this thing rolling, I guess.
Let's do it.
Run down these birthdays real quick. I actually had a few Christmas babies. I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. But
yeah.
December 25th, we had Jason Thirsk, bassist for Pennywise. He unfortunately passed away in 1996. We had Josh Freese. He was an American session and touring drummer for Nine Inch Nails. Then we had, of course, here's where you come in, Chris. So to correct me on names.
Okay.
Tuomas
that's Thomas Holopainen.
There you go. So keyboardist and songwriter for Nightwish. I know Chris knows all of those names over there. He follows that a lot closer than I do. So then December 26th, we had James Kotak, drummer for the Scorpions from 96 to 2016. We had Lars Ulrich, drummer for this little band we know as Metallica.
Nah, never heard of him.
Never heard of him?
No.
I think they opened for Rat once. But...
That's actually true.
We had Chris Daughtry, vocalist for Daughtry, and then Andy Bursack, vocalist for Black Veil Brides. December 27th, we had Jeremy Sevens, a bassist for Farewell to Fear. I always like their tongue twist of a name. Then we had Nicholas Eglin, guitarist for the Halo Effect. We have Martin Birch, a British sound engineer and record producer for bands like Whitesnake and Iron Maiden. He unfortunately passed away in 2020. Then we had Turgi, and I'm going to kill this name too, Skabanis, guitarist for Tyr. I guess it's Tyr or Tyr. Yeah, TYR.
I'm not 100% sure how.
I'm not either. It's got like a hyphen over the Y, so I'm not real sure how they pronounce that over there.
I always pronounce it as Tyr.
Yeah, I do too.
I always pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure if that's right either, though. But
Well, if it's wrong, we're both wrong. So
that's true.
Then we had December 28th. We had Mike Craig, vocalist for Farewell to Fear. I think Farewell to Fear must have met at a birthday party or something.
Probably did.
December 29th, we had Dexter Holland, a singer-songwriter for The Offspring. At Evan Seinfeld, vocalist and bassist for Biohazard. December 30th, we had Inferno, and I'm not going to pronounce his real name because I don't know if I could do it. But he is the drummer for Behemoth. December 31st, we had Tom Hamilton, bassist for Aerosmith, and Scott Ian, guitarist for Anthrax. So
nice.
There we go for birthdays. So
I would say we definitely had some names.
On
that list this week.
Pretty big names on there. Not as beefy as some of the lists in the past, but still.
Yep. Well, it's about quality, not quantity. So.
Yeah, there you go. But happy birthday to all those guys. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Happy birthday to you. And like always, if anybody out there is listening and had a birthday this week, hope you had a great birthday. Or having one today, then thank you for joining us and starting it off with us.
Yep, that's right. Yep, and unfortunately, like I say, on the flip side of the birthdays thing, we did this at the end of last year, and kind of think it's only fair that this is going to be something we'll do every year. I mean, as long as this show keeps rolling, I think it's only fair, because especially when you have award shows who do such a shitty job of doing this.
We should take this segment and get pictures of all the people that passed, and then put it to the Creator Fallen Brothers video every year.
Oh, we should. That's actually a good idea for next year. I mean, it's a good idea. But So this is our in memoriam segment, and as far as I know, this is complete, but I seriously doubt it because, like I say, we don't follow like every single website that probably
Right.
would report on deaths, but I guarantee you this is more comprehensive than any award show. I guarantee you that.
God, yes.
I would bet money on that. So unfortunately, this is like 2 pages long, which really sucks because then that just tells you the amount of deaths we had this year. But we are going to honor these people the best we can. So our 2022 in memoriam, starting off with Andre Nowak, TSA guitarist, passed away on January 4th from a long-term illness, age 62. Barry Benedetta, Cinderella guitarist, passed away from COVID-19 on January 6th, age 62. Michael Lang, Woodstock organizer, died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma on January 8th, age 77. Burke Shelley, vocalist and guitarist of Budgie, died of multiple causes on January 10th, age 71. Ernest Chapman, manager for Tony Iommi, cause unknown and age unknown, died on January 15th. Yeah, Meatloaf. I think we all know who Meatloaf is. Yeah. Singer and actor. Unknown causes, died on January 20th, age 74.
Ma, we need the meatloaf.
We do.
We want it now. Yeah. We want it now.
Yeah. You know what? I will have some meatloaf. You want some? Such a good movie.
It is. Yeah.
It's a great cameo too. That Will Ferrell cameo in that movie. We have Frederick. We have Frederick Johansson, rhythm guitarist for Dark Tranquillity, passed away from cancer on January 25th at age 47. Then Johnny Z Zazula, Megaforce Records co-founder, cause unknown, died on February 1st, age 69. Bruce Gregg, guitarist for Dying Fetus, Misery Index, and more, cause unknown, died on February 6th, age 54. Ian McDonald, co-founder of Foreigner and King Crimson, cause unknown, died on February 10th at age 75. Big John Hart, Kiss and Iron Maiden bodyguard, died of cancer on February 11th at the age of 70. Gary Brooker, Procol Harum frontman, died of cancer on February 19th at the age of 76. Mark Lanigan, Screaming Trees singer and Queens of the Stone Age member, cause unknown, died February 22nd at the age of 57. Mike Cross, founding guitarist for Sponge, cause unknown, died March 6th at age 57. Joe Moore, Blood Feast drummer, undisclosed cause, age 55. And for some reason, I didn't have that date either. But actually, I remember it. It was March 8th. That's when it was. It was on March 8th. David Ziggy Sigmund, Econoline Crush guitarist, date, cause, and age all unknown. So,
wow.
But it was sometime. It was. I'm going in chronological order. So it was some.
The shirt was them.
Yeah. So it was sometime. It was sometime in mid-March.
Okay.
Jason Holmes, guitarist and vocalist for Esocharis and the Handshake Murders, cause unknown, died March 22nd at age 42. Didier Severin, vocalist for Canute, date, cause, and age unknown. But it was more than likely between the 22nd and the 25th of March, because on the 25th of March, Taylor Hawkins died, drummer and vocalist for the Foo Fighters, age 50. Keaton Pierce, vocalist for Too Close to Touch, cause unknown, age unknown, died March 26th. Adam Whited, King Conquer bassist, date, cause, and age unknown. Tim Furyk, Dance Gavin Dance bassist, age and cause unknown, died April 13th. Randy Rand, Autograph bassist, died April 22nd, age and cause unknown. Gabe Serbian, Locust drummer, Dead Cross singer, and Cattle Decapitation guitarist, died April 30th at the age of 44, cause unknown. Rick Parnell, Spinal Tap drummer Mick Shrimpton, died on May 1st at the age of 70, cause unknown. Howie Pyro, co-founder of Degeneration, DJ, and bassist and backing vocalist for Danzig, among others, died May 4th at the age of 61 from COVID-related pneumonia. Trevor Sturnod, Black Dahlia Murder vocalist, died on May 11th at the age of 41, cause unknown. Guillaume Bidot, Nemec vocalist, died May 24th at 44, cause unknown. Alan White, Yes drummer, died May 26th from a short illness at the age of 72. Henrik Hempo Hilden, Finnish-Swedish drummer, died on May 30th from an illness at the age of 69. Ken Kelly, a famed album cover artist, died June 3rd from unknown causes at 76 years old. Alec John Such, founding Bon Jovi bassist, died June 4th from natural causes at age 70. Brett Tuggle, David Lee Roth keyboardist, died June 19th from cancer complications at the age of 70. Andrew Labar, Impaled and Ghoul guitarist, died July 1st from ALS, age unknown. Manny Charlton, founding Nazareth guitarist, died July 6th at age of 80 from unknown causes. Michael James Jackson, Kiss producer, died July 14th from COVID-related pneumonia, age unknown. Mariusz Lewandowski, also a famed metal cover artist, died July 20th at age 82 from unknown causes. Jody Abbott, drummer and co-founder of Fuel, died July 20th from Huntington's disease at age 55. Bob Heathcote, former bass player for Suicidal Tendencies, died July 24th from a motorcycle accident at age 58. Caleb Lubchow, War of Ages drummer, died July 27th, age and cause unknown. Nikki Moore, former Samson singer, died August 3rd from Parkinson's disease at age 75. Steve Grimmett, Grim Reaper vocalist, died August 15th, cause unknown, age 62. Ted Kirkpatrick, Tourniquet founder, died August 19th of idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis at 62 years old. Stuart Antsis, Cradle of Filth guitarist, died August 22nd, unknown causes at age 48. Kevin Kavone Clark, Bulldoze vocalist, died September 2nd, cause and age unknown. Dave Sherman, vocalist, bassist for numerous doom metal bands, died September 7th, cause unknown, age 55. David Anderson, Soilwork guitarist, died September 14th, cause unknown, age 47. Gord Kirchen, Piledriver vocalist, died September 22nd from lung cancer at age 60. Paul Stoddard, Diecast vocalist, died October 24th from pulmonary hypertension, age unknown. Jerry Lee Lewis, rock and roll artist, to say the least, died October 28th at the age of 87. D.L. Peligro, Dead Kennedys drummer, died October 28th from head trauma from a fall, age 63. Mark Philbrandt, Glorified guitarist, was killed by a wrong-way drunk driver on October 29th at the age of 54. That one pisses me off more than any other one on this list.
Yeah.
Daniel Fawcett, Helix guitarist, died November 6th. Well, actually, I take that back. From murder at age 52. Mm-hmm. So that sucks. That's an understatement by a lot. Mm-hmm. He was found in a park somewhere in Ontario. Someone
just dumped him. Yeah.
Yeah. Dan McCafferty, Nazareth vocalist, died November 8th from unknown causes at age 76.
Was that the second Nazareth band member?
I believe so.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I believe so. Let me look back real quick. Yep. Manny Charlton, the guitar player, and Dan McCafferty, the vocalist. Yep.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. Nick Turner, Hawkwind saxophone and flute player, died November 10th of unknown causes at age 82. Scott Dackruden of Alice in Chains, guitar tech and photographer, died November 17th from stage 4 cancer, age unknown. Wilco Johnson, Dr. Feelgood guitarist and actor, died November 21st, cause unknown, age 75. Mike Clement, Tony Iommi guitar tech, died on November 28th of complications from a fall, age unknown. It's actually the second person in connection to Tony Iommi that died this year. Wow. His manager died and his guitar tech died. Then we have Stian Benhellion Andresen, Nocturnal Breed guitarist, died on December 8th from suicide, unfortunately, age unknown. Then we have a couple to add to the end of the list, and I'm actually going to do those stories now. I'm going to jump into current events real quick because I have two that happened yesterday, so I want to get to those. So over at blabbermouth.net, Patrick Briggs, singer and lead vocalist of glam rock band Psychotica, has reportedly passed away. No cause of death has been revealed. The news of Briggs' passing was shared by Psychotica's booking agent Leave Home Booking, which wrote on social media, quote, "It is with heavy hearts that we say goodbye to our dear friend Patrick Briggs of Psychotica. Patrick was a creative force, an innovator, a star child, and courageously confronted the world. His talent, brilliant style, wicked laugh, and mischievous wit will never be forgotten. Our hearts are broken, but you are free from the pain of this world. May you feel the embrace of angels and your star continue to shine bright, dear friend. Love you forever," end quote. Pastor Pastor Pussycat? No. Faster Pussycat frontman Time A Down, who recently recorded a guest appearance on a Psychotica song called Pervert, also shared the news of Briggs' passing, writing on Instagram, quote, "I'm heartbroken. Rest in peace, my brother, Patrick Briggs. I'm going to miss the fuck out of you. Hashtag the other white meat. Hashtag Psychotica. Hashtag talented motherfucker," end quote. Billy Idol's longtime guitarist Steve Stevens also mourned Patrick's death, writing on Instagram, quote, "News of singer Pat Briggs' passing is so freaking sad. I had recently reconnected with him and played guitar on 2 tracks for his upcoming record. He sounded brilliant on it. I hope whoever is handling his affairs makes sure the record gets released," end quote. American singer and fashion model BB Buell wrote, quote, "Oh no, news I didn't want to hear. Bless his complicated soul. I will never forget his shows at Don Hills with Psychotica. He was such a creative, innovative artist. No one like him, really. He was rare, and that voice, beyond heavenly, sending love to all who knew him and loved him. He was a rare one," end quote. Singer Michael DeBar wrote, I'm so sorry to hear that. He was such a talented artist, way ahead of the game. God bless him," end quote. What started as a way to combat boredom within the New York music scene in the early 90s turned into a wild ride for the members of Psychotica. As they were rehearsing for what would be their very first show, an A&R rep from American Recordings happened to be walking by, heard them, and had a record deal on the table immediately. By their second show, fashion icon Steven Sprouse had statues fashioned of the band and placed them in the highly acclaimed glam rock exhibit in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the Ahmet Ertegun Hall of Costumes. Sandwiched next to David Bowie and Iggy Pop, you'll find Patrick Briggs from Psychotica decked out in saran wrap and strung up on a neon cross. Well, there you go. As their first year as a band unfolded, it was announced that Psychotica would be the opening act for Lollapalooza 96 on a bill that featured Metallica, Rancid, Ramones, Soundgarden, Devo, and the godfather of punk himself, Iggy Pop. In a 2014 interview, with the Punk Globe, Briggs stated about Psychotica, quote, "I've been doing this since the mid-'80s. Psychotica came about as sort of a fluke. I started this club Squeezebox with my then partner, Michael Kent. It was a big hit. It brought all the weirdos together under one roof, which hadn't been done since Max's Kansas City and CBGB. It got so big that it was almost a movement. There were a lot of acts that spawned from it. The Toilet Boys, Hedwig and the Angry Itch, and Psychotica all came out of it. I started off just producing the shows and began to yearn to be on stage again. We started out rehearsing X-Ray, Specs, and Devo covers. We got signed after our first show. Things just spiraled from there quite by accident. Peter Strauss put us in an installation in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right in the costume hall with Bowie, Iggy, and all of the forefathers of glam rock. It took on a life of its own immediately, and then things really did get out of control. It was like the Sig Sputnik scenario where there was a crazy hype around them before they'd even been heard by anyone," end quote. Briggs was also an actor, having played a role of gay rock musician Luke in the 1997 film All Over Me. In addition, he appeared in the New York Theater Workshop version of Rent in the role of Tom Collins. So, kind of all over the place a little bit as far as, New York City is concerned. So, say probably a pretty big name, definitely in that city. So, So yeah, it doesn't, like I say, it doesn't say how old he was or what the cause of death was. So, but I mean, I can't say he looks like ridiculously old. He might be in his 60s. I don't really want to speculate, but but regardless, probably a pretty good bet that he's gone too soon. So, yeah. And then staying over at Blabbermouth for this other one. Hopefully this is the last one for the year, with it being the last day of the month. Hopefully we don't have to hear about any more today. Veteran heavy metal journalist, historian, and documentarian Bob Nalbandian passed away on Friday, December 30th in Redding, California. According to his sister, Diana Nalbandian Spar, Bob was recently diagnosed with mantle cell lymphoma, an aggressive rare form of non-Hodgkin lymphoma that arises from cells originating in the quote-unquote mantle zone. Megadeth leader Dave Mustaine was one of the musicians mourning Bob's death. He wrote on social media, quote, "Sad news today. My friend Bob Nalbandian, the metal legend who helped me find Marty Friedman, has passed away. We will miss you terribly, Bob. My sincere condolences to his family and friends," end quote. Former Megadeth bassist David Ellefson also paid tribute to Nalbandian, writing, quote, "With deep shock and sadness, we here offer our condolences for our friend Bob Nalbandian, who passed away today. Bob was one of the first metal historian journalists I met when I moved to LA in 1983. A true friend, fan, supporter, and lover of all things heavy metal. He did so much for our community and will be deeply missed, end quote. Now, Bandian started in the music and entertainment business at age 17 as the publisher editor-in-chief of the seminal heavy metal fanzine The Headbanger in April of 1982, a nationally distributed zine which figured the very first profiles of then unsigned Los Angeles bands Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and Armored Saint. Talk about being out ahead of the fucking curve.
Damn.
Jesus Christ.
No shit.
Throughout the 80s and 90s, Nalbandian was also a contributing editor to several well-known music mags, including Metal Rendezvous, Cream, Music Connection, Hit Parader, BAM, Foundations, as well as associate editor for men's magazines Platinum and Men's Perspective. Prior to discontinuing the Headbanger in 1985, Nalbandian took on management for the Orange County, California metal band Eden, signing the band to a worldwide deal with Enigma/Restless Records in 1984. In the early 1990s, Nalbandian landed guitarist Marty Friedman in the multi-platinum group Megadeth, and soon after headed the West Coast office of Roadrunner Records, working closely with the label's cutting-edge artists at the time, including Sepultura, Typo Negative, and Last Crack. I gotta admit, I don't think I've heard of Last Crack. After a year-long stint at Roadrunner, Nalbandian went on to work for Bizarre/Straight Records, which was Rhino WEA, assisting label president Herb Cohen. Throughout the 90s, Nalbandian also acquired license deals with major international companies such as Century Media in the US and Europe, Roadrunner Japan, Cherry Red/Hear No Evil/Universal Music in Europe, JVC/Victor in Japan, Music for Nations in the UK, Bandle/Apollon in Japan, Polystar in Japan, High Voltage/Metal for Mothers in Germany. Most recently, Nalbandian directed and co-produced the Inside Metal documentary film series from Metal Rock Films and the Band vs. Brand documentary film from Cleopatra Entertainment. These feature-length documentary films are available on DVD and all the major movie streaming outlets. The Inside Metal movies include Pioneers of LA Hard Rock and Metal, LA Metal Scene Explodes, The Rise of LA Thrash Metal, and Bay Area Godfathers. Each film is 2 parts. Nalbandian was also the founder and host of 2 major metal podcasts, Shockwave Skull Sessions and Shockwaves/Hard Radio. So this guy was a name. He was absolutely
right.
I knew of Bob Nalbandian, not personally, of course, but I knew of Bob Nalbandian way before obviously hearing this story. So I mean, this guy had his hands in everything. Everything. So, I mean, a major player, and there are a lot of bands and labels who probably wouldn't have gotten to where they were or are if not for his help. So,
I'll say this: like the number of bands that posted something about this guy, it was astonishing because it's, a lot of the bands I follow on social media actually was all posting stuff. I'm just like, wow, this guy was, and it was like a different. It was different generations too, which was crazy. It was, it wasn't just Anthrax and Metallica type stuff. It was, it was some bands in the last 15, 20 years too, which was crazy. So I mean, he definitely had a long career and definitely hung out with some big name.
Oh
people,
so he had a ton of influence and a lot of reach.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously everybody on the list is definitely going to be missed for for various reasons. But yeah, I mean, Bob Nalbandian, I mean, he was definitely a player. So, but that will conclude the 2022 in memoriam. Our condolences to all of the friends and families, to every single one of the deceased. So,
man, it's
here's hoping that next year's list won't be nearly as long. So,
yeah, unfortunately, when we're the bands that we grew up to are in their 60s or plus now, so it's definitely not something you really think about until you see it, and then you're like, damn, I guess they were like, even with like the Nazareth thing. I remember Nazareth being one of the first bands that I actually had a cassette, Hair of the Dog, and it was just like, and to hear that, just like, man, is that ribbon? I was thinking, yeah, I mean, I was like 15, so I mean, those guys were already probably 30s at that point, so
right.
so yeah, you get 20 some odd years ahead of me. So
Right.
so it's just definitely, and that's just like we talk about on this all the time. It's like we don't think about Rob Halford and
Rob Halford
Klaus
and
Main and all these people being 70 years old, but
yeah,
here they are. It's like
yeah,
Brian
I mean,
Johnson from ACDC's.
mm-hmm.
All these guys are pushing 70 or in their 70s already, and it's like I mean, even like when you see him, like I watched Alice Cooper, I don't know, it was last year I think when I went and seen him, and it was just amazing to see what he did on the age at 72 years old. It's just like, wow, like this dude moves around better than I do sometimes. But
we make jokes all the time about. Of course, he's not quite as old as like Alice Cooper and Ozzy
right.
and Rob Halford, but we make jokes all the time about how fucking spastic Bruce Dickinson is on stage, but he's in his goddamn 60s.
Yeah, I mean, he's still older than we are, and full of energy and life. Is just
absolutely.
Of course, one of my good friends, Perry Lewis, that I wrestle with, is listening today, and I just want to say I'm gonna blame it all on him for hitting me with chairs over the years. But
foreign object.
But yeah, I appreciate Perry hitting me up this morning. He's like, "Hey, what's that link to that show, man? I want to listen to it a little bit." I'm like,
"Oh, cool." Nice.
But, yeah, man. So he's first time that I know of that he's been on here. So
that's awesome.
And we've all like the thing is like, we're busy with work and I'm busy with this stuff a lot of times, but I said this in a post at Christmas. I said we need to, visit these loved ones because that chair may be empty next year. You know what I mean? So we don't know.
Yeah.
And I just not to be publicized and stuff, but we just had a good friend of ours in the wrestling business lose a baby, and I mean that's even like worse. That you got a baby that's going to be missing from your family functions going forward. I mean that's going to be, I couldn't imagine that. I mean honestly. But I mean, that's not the old people. I try to tell people, it's like, we don't know what tomorrow brings. So we need to make sure that we're taking advantage of those situations. We don't want to be, in that situation where we're like, oh man, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have,
right.
You just want to be able, you just say, hey, I did what I could, like just bringing that up with Perry was we've talked about a lot of stuff. We've lost a lot of people in the wrestling business too, that were close to us. And we keep talking about, we need to get together. No, we need to get together. We don't need to put this shit off. We need to at least get out and hang out every couple of months or something. But,
I mean, hell, if nothing else, I mean, maybe in the next couple of weeks, if the weather cooperates, invite them out to the house for a fire. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something, anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anybody, I've told anybody on Facebook, if you see the picture, then you're welcome to come. Because I always post the pictures. Like, you know what time it is.
So,
So that's an open invitation, man. There's no we've had a lot of people take us up on it too. So we've had a few people from friends that come through. So
but yeah, I mean, Jason's right though. If you guys get a chance, I mean, do what you can to at least talk to talk to people, talk to loved ones, give them a call on a regular basis. I mean, hell, my grandma just died on Thanksgiving Day, so, my mom's mother passed away, and, I talked to her on Christmas. I was like, how you doing? She's like, well, I'm good. It's just, a little weird without mom being here. It's like, well, yeah, so she lost her sister in August and she lost her mom on Thanksgiving Day. So, I mean, it's just, you never know.
Yeah. I don't think the sayings ever hit me harder than the one that says at some point in your life you're going to know more people dead than you do alive. And
right.
Like, it almost feels like we're getting, kind of into that realm.
Yeah. Well, we do get closer and closer to it every day.
Yeah.
Want to say a quick good morning to our friend Dana from Metal and Tats. Good morning, Dana. And we want to say good morning and take your time to Myrna. She said good morning and she said she's got to go to a meeting. So Myrna is in a meeting. So
well, we appreciate her taking her time from work, obviously, to fit us into the schedule there. So
So
Myrna's been a big supporter of this show, and I can't thank her enough for what she's. She's done for us.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that as soon as I say his name, he will probably appear. But Victor's probably lurking around here somewhere. I'm sure we'll see him shortly. So
Yeah. If he's not constant, having a concert hangover,
Right.
not drinking, he just goes to a lot of shows.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So
recovering from a show. Absolutely.
yeah. But, well, like I said, we want to keep those people that we lost in our thoughts going forward. So,
yes,
and what was crazy is like I forgot about Johnny Z until you mentioned it. And Martha just passed away the year before, so it was kind of a rough go there. Which I mean, you spend that much time with somebody, it's almost the old saying is that they usually die of a broken heart when their significant other passes. So
yeah. That actually does happen a lot.
It does.
It does happen a lot, especially in, relationships that have that, the longevity like that, usually they, a lot of times they go pretty close to each other. Cause I mean, you're talking, like my grandparents have been together, my dad's mom and dad, they've been together like 6 decades.
Right.
I mean, that's a long time.
They said a lot of shit.
Yeah, they have. And, I mean, they're both in their mid 80s, but I mean, hell, man, they're spry. They are spry, these two.
Well, that's the main thing is I always think like, hey, if I live to be 80, I want to be able to enjoy life. I don't want to be in a damn nursing home or something somewhere. But of course, we don't. We do have control over our health. So
yeah. I want to tell a quick funny story about my grandpa. When we were up in Michigan for Thanksgiving, obviously, it was a sad day because, my grandmother passed away. But while we were up there, went across town and visited my other grandparents, and, walk into the house and, say hey and everything, and walk in the living room. My grandfather walks out. He's got this big ass scab on his nose right here. It's like, Grandpa, what the hell happened? Well, he was riding his bike up the street, and he was crossing the road. He had the walk sign. He had his helmet on. He was biking and everything. He was going up the road. Well, as he was crossing the road, there was a work truck that had pulled up to the intersection. And you know how you have the crosswalk, and then you got like the one line where it tells you to stop, so you clear the crosswalk. Well, this guy pulled up to the traffic light, and he was making a right turn. So he pulled up to the light as my grandfather was crossing the road, and he kind of like went over that line a little bit too far, and my grandfather went like around the front of him to miss him. And when he did that, he kind of clipped the front tire of his bike on the curb and went over the handlebars and face planted. So he had like he said he scraped up his nose and everything. He said he had a hairline fracture of the tip of his nose, and he knocked out his 2 front teeth. And he was like holding on to one of them. And I was like, where's the other one? He said, probably in the street. And he started laughing. I was like, God damn it. He's like 85 years old, and he face planted. He's walking around with his tooth in his his hand.
Tough guy, man.
Yeah. I couldn't help but laugh. Thankfully, he laughed because I couldn't help but laugh. So I thought it was hilarious.
All right, I guess we'll get into a couple of news stories here. I only have a couple, and then that one thing that we were going to talk about for next year. So, so over at Metal Injection, Static X reformed in 2018 with the mysterious Zero fronting the band. Rumors began to swirl that Zero was actually Dope frontman Edsel Dope, which have since been confirmed and discussed by Dope himself. Despite everyone knowing the identity of Zero, Dope still does not want to be known as the guy who fronts Static X. In an interview with Blabbermouth, Dope discussed his. You notice this, right? Metal Injection, but this says Blabbermouth. So just so you know, we're not the only one that steals stories. So, but in an interview with Blabbermouth, Dope discussed his choice to go by the name Zero and wear a mask on stage. He also touched on his relationship with the Static X frontman Wayne Static and touring with Static when he was going solo in the mid 2010s. Quote, the motive behind it is that I, Edsel Dope, have zero interest in being the frontman, face, or being known as the singer of Static X. I feel like as long as we never put another face to Static X, Wayne will always be the face of Static X. It's appropriate. That was the number one most important thing. I'll help my friends. This all started in 2014. 2014, I moved to LA. I was working on the Drama Club project, and I really wanted to produce another band and make a great record without me being in the band. I just wanted to move the controls, do what I do, and help another band sound great. I had done it with a couple of other bands that I produced, but I wanted to do it with a band of note. When I got to LA, the first thing I did was a short West Coast tour with Dope and Wayne Static. I purposely did this because I wanted to reconnect with Wayne and start the conversation with him about I'm a businessman and energy guy. It made no sense to me that Wayne Static was on tour celebrating the anniversary of Wisconsin Death Trip, playing the album in its entirety as Wayne Static to small crowds. Sadly enough, though, it's Wayne Static playing Static X songs. It's not the same as Static X. The amount of people showing up to see Wayne Static was infantile to what would have been if it was Static X. I started having those conversations with Wayne on that tour. They went really well. I didn't understand at the time the depth of addiction that Wayne was under. I thought there was a Yoko Ono in reference to Wayne's wife, Tara Reid. That was what I was going to have to worry about. I can handle Yoko Ono, but the drug addiction and the fog that were what I realized when I was out there with him was this was going to be the biggest challenge. I'm not sure about without rehab it will be possible. I really feel like it was because I'm a big believer that if somebody wants it, they can do it. Long story short, obviously, we know what happened. 6 or 8 weeks after that, Wayne passed away. That idea disappeared. End quote. On the topic of touring with Static X, the Mass frontman added when it came time to put it on stage and make it a tour, it was there should never be another singer of Static X that's a person. The entity idea became where it was. Let's put a mask out there. A lot of it was predicted on the 20th anniversary of Wisconsin Death Trip. We want people to come and have a Wisconsin Death Trip experience. How can you do that without the dude in the middle's hair standing up?
That's true.
I couldn't imagine people in the crowd hearing these songs and not getting that. What are you going to do? If it were me or if it were some guy named Steve, are you going to walk out on stage with your hair standing straight up? It's stupid. The mask allowed it to have anonymity. It's also funny because that guy standing in the middle of the stage playing guitar, singing all those parts in many ways, the entire thing is reliant on that dude doing a great job. But at the same time, it's like pay no attention to the guy in the middle holding it together. But if that guy sucks or fucks it up, the whole thing is going to sink. So that's old Dope's feelings on the Static X deal there. So
I actually like that they're doing it that way because I totally get what he's going for.
Well, I mean, he was close to Wayne. He didn't want to disrespect what Wayne had built. So
right, and for all intents and purposes, Wayne was Static X.
Right.
And obviously his hairstyle was iconic.
Right.
He had a distinctive voice. So they're doing with the Static X project, they're doing what Pantera's doing.
Right.
They're honoring the legacy. That's what they're doing. Because like he said, people should be hearing the song, and unfortunately Wayne's not around for it, but the songs, the Static X song should be played by the Static X performers.
Right.
And considering that Wayne isn't around anymore, doing the Visage tribute, I think it's a great way of doing it. I really do.
What's crazy is they still have unreleased tracks that Wayne recorded. So which I think they were talking about may actually be on the next album.
They probably will. And Project Regeneration Volume 1, I thought was awesome. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think Etzel is really like, I don't want to do anything new and call it Static X. That's what he said. He said, yeah, I won't mind going in with the guys in the studio and doing something, but we can't call it Static X.
Right.
And I agree with that. I mean,
I do
even though they are Static X and he's dope, I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
Of course, we all already know that Dope's coming out with new music next year, so
yeah,
I doubt we see any of that anyway. But
right. All right. Let's see. I'm basically at Blabbermouth the whole time, with the exception of one story. So staying over at Blabbermouth. Members of Bay Area crossover punk / thrash metal band Hemorrhage escaped without any serious injuries after being hit by a reckless driver early Saturday morning, which was Christmas morning in San Francisco. Quote, "We just came from Sacramento to play an after party," Hemorrhage guitarist John Ork told ABC San Francisco affiliate KGO. "We were on our way home. As we exited the freeway, some guy was going about 60 to 80 miles an hour, and he hit us really hard, and he dragged us." In a social media post, Hemorrhage explained that Ork and guitarist vocalist Toby Bonapak had just dropped off drummer Ron Roussel when they were hit. Bonapak was taken to the ER with minor injuries, treated and released. Quote, "He hit the right side of our bus and kept on pushing the gas pedal and eventually tried to run away," the band wrote. "Luckily enough, there was an officer on the next block who stopped and arrested the driver." That is good. Mm-hmm. Our bus is total. We are not sure how much damage is done to our gear at the moment. Toby had to go to the ER, and thankfully he did not get any major injuries. He is now with his family and recovering. John and his wife, Missy, did not get any injuries, but only soreness from the collision. "We are grateful that none of us are hurt, and we can take time to rest and recover from this event. We will start picking back up the pieces and figure out what our next moves are after the holidays," end quote. Hemorrhage has set up a GoFundMe page to raise money to purchase a new bus that would cost upwards of $20,000, as well as the thousands of dollars needed to replace damaged equipment. According to ESP Guitars, Hemorrhage started doing guerrilla-style tours in 2017, outfitting a mini tour bus with gear and merch items and then driving around to various events to bring their sound to people, whether they are expecting it or not. The band generally pulls up whenever it seems like it will have a receptive audience, mostly dive bars, clubs, and arenas where other metal bands were playing, and begins performing as the venue shows end and people start to filter out into the parking lots or right into the street. At one such gig this past April, Hemorrhage pulled its bus up outside the San Diego, California tour stop of the Bay Strikes Back with Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel. This is just a coincidence, by the way. Yeah. Exodus guitarist Gary Holt noticed them and posted a video of the band on his Instagram that night saying, "Hemorrhage are raging in the streets of San Diego. Roll up in minibus, start killing it right next to our bus. Simply the coolest thing ever. Security guard be damned." End quote from Gary Holt. So that's pretty fucking cool. So hopefully everything will be okay and they can get their bus replaced and their gear replaced so they can start getting back out there and doing what they do. I am glad that no one was seriously hurt too, and I'm also glad that the asshole who hit him got released, or got arrested rather. So
what's so crazy about the shirts is the shirt you're wearing came from the first leg that we went to, and then the shirt I'm wearing came from the second leg. So
yeah,
we did a full sweep of the Bay Strikes Back tour.
We did. So. Yes, we did. And I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yep, I'll do 2. I'd do 5 more. I don't.
Yeah.
They even like the tour that they're on now with who was it? They're on tour with Exodus is still on tour. I just seen the damn thing of it too.
Isn't Exodus on tour with Creator?
Yes, Creator. That's right. Yeah. So even that, I would go see that.
Oh God, yeah, hell yeah.
So even without Testament and Death Angel, I would still go. So
hell, I mean,
Dana said he's wearing his Death Angel shirt from the second leg as well.
There you go. Yeah.
So we're all Bay Strikes Back in it today.
Yeah.
So
hell, Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel just need to do it all over again in 23, but add Creator.
No man, they would have to get a bigger venue. I think
they would have to
if they add anybody else.
They'd have to get a bigger venue, and I would still go. I would go.
Yeah. I actually think that concert that we went to the second time would have been a lot more crowded if Pearl Jam hadn't been playing the same night.
I think so.
Downtown, because I'm sure that a lot of fans were some fans
like torn,
torn, and then and they decided to spend the extra money to go see Pearl Jam because I'm sure it wasn't $30. So
no, it was not. And obviously, we're a little bit more biased here, but I mean, you give me the choice between going and seeing the Bay Strikes Back again and going to see Pearl Jam. 100 times out of 100, I'm fucking going to see.
Well, especially
at $30. I mean,
right. Well, the thing is, if you got people that are say 6-7 years younger than we are. They kind of grew up, and the first thing they know about is grunge. So,
That's true.
they kind of
That's true.
grew up in when the Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and all those guys were waving through, and they were just, that's probably what turned them on to rock in general. So, whatever turns you on to rock is fine, but
Oh, absolutely. Like I say, I'm not. I mean, I'm definitely not.
and I'm sure Pearl Jam's up there, and they're just like, I mean, honestly, Pearl Jam's probably one of the bands, from that era that are actually all still intact because, of course, we know what happened with Nirvana and Soundgarden
and Alice in Chains.
Alice in Chains. I mean, of course, Alice in Chains are still around, but Lane Staley's not there. I'm talking
Right.
about frontman being still there. So,
oh, absolutely.
I mean, if you think about all that, and you're like, damn, I may not get a chance to see Eddie Vedder again. So, and if you're a big fan of that, I don't blame you. So, I mean, there's bands that, like I've said this 100 times, that I wished I'd have seen Pantera back when everybody was still there. I mean, yeah, you still have Phil, but you don't have Pantera. So,
right, and even even with the videos that have come out, now that they're doing the celebration of Pantera, it still, don't get me wrong, Charlie Benante's killing it, Zakk Wylde's killing it, but it's still not the same, and it was never going to be. And anyone who thought it was going to be the same were fucking lying to themselves.
Well, the thing is, it's like it's like Phil. I think Phil said it best. He said, "I think that people need to hear these songs live, and this is the best way to do that and get people to listen to it, So of course I don't want to be dwelling back on the Pantera thing again, but because we could be here all day, but
yeah, we could. It's just, it's they're I mean, the Static X tribute is killing it. The Pantera tribute is killing it. I mean, bottom line, it's going well.
Yeah, so. All right, my last story is over from Blabbermouth here. As part of Jonathan Montenegro's My 3 Questions 2 series, Randy Blythe was asked what the most complicated part has been being in a band like Lamb of God. He responded, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net, I think the most complicated part of it is not really anything with the band. It's trying to make sense of how this has become a career, because we just did it for the love of it. That's why we started the band. I never thought it would be a job. I was never like, oh, we're going to be rock stars or whatever. I think the really complicated part of it for me has been navigating the fact that something that I would be doing anyway, which is making music, is navigating how that has become a business, he continued. And it's not something I'm always entirely comfortable with, to tell you the truth, because I'm just a regular dude. That's why we have management, though. I don't handle the business, but I think that has really been the most complicated thing for me, is realizing that it's a business at this point, because we employ a lot of people. People were able to buy their families Christmas gifts this year because we employ them. It's definitely a band that it's our art and we love it, but it is a business. And for me, accepting that is strange, because I don't come from the business world. I never had any money. I'm not a rich kid or anything weird like that. Blythe added, just learning to be a professional musician, I guess, is the most complicated part. Writing the music and touring and playing the shows and all that shit that's fun. That's easy for me. Learning the business has been complicated. So I can see that, I guess. That's just like anything else you go into, you do it for the love of it. But you got to realize there's a business portion of it that you have to kind of include in your decision making. So. And a lot of times that does get lost. I mean, so.
And Angela's going through the same thing with her business right now, because she's never owned her own business before, obviously, but she's like, I know how to do my job, as far as the services she provides. She's like, I can do my job all day. She's like, it's just like the business aspect of it that I'm not 100% sure of. So I mean, don't get me wrong, she's learning and she's killing it, but when she went into it, she's like, as far as doing the jobs, that's the easy part. Going out to the job sites and doing the job. She's like, that's the easiest part. But the logistics and scheduling and all that other shit. She's like, I've never really had to take care of that myself. So I mean, but she's learning it. So yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Luckily, there's programs out there too that you can buy and download that could help you, plan all that stuff and.
That's
true. We talked about this. This came up yesterday. We were, a buddy of mine that I wrestle with was put out there, and he was talking about some of the, generation coming in. telling them how to go about getting themselves, looked at and all that stuff. And some people were talking about what they do to be professional about getting their stuff out to promoters. And I said, yeah, none of you know how what it's like to put a VHS in an envelope and mail it to a damn promoter. Say, hey, check this out and hit me back up. Now it's just so instant. Like with technology, the way it is, everything's just so instant, man. You could just record it, upload it, and then share the link. And it's so crazy. Like I wish to God I was still 30 years old. I do, but
kid.
We were born in our times for a reason. So
kids don't understand the struggle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I had to wait like 2 weeks for NWA to call me back and be like, hey, we want to give you a tryout. And I'm like, cool. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was big. I thought that was big news then. NWA is trying me out. Like, cool. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, 25-year-old kid going to NWA is like pretty wild. But I mean, nowadays it's just like, like I said, this was before YouTube. We didn't know what YouTube was for probably 4 or 5 years into the business, and then people started talking about YouTube. I'm like, what the fuck is YouTube? But, so, hell, if I knew this, I'd have been uploading matches the whole time. But
no kidding.
It is what it is, though. So I, nonetheless, I had a great time. I don't take any of it for granted. It was, I met a lot of great people, and I intend to do the same thing going forward doing this. So
absolutely,
that's one of the reasons we want to do the Rockin' Pod, to try to get to knowing some other podcasters, and try to share some secrets between us, and
steal some secrets.
And talk to some people. But really, the thing is with that is we're going to be talking to people we wouldn't normally talk to on this show, because that Rockin' Pod, the guests on that show are usually from the 80s and 90s. So, and that's not what we do mostly here. We're mostly trying to promote new bands and get new music in people's ears.
Right.
But I think it's going to be kind of cool to kind of, get out of the element a little bit to talk to some people that we wouldn't normally talk to. So, it's cool.
And, more visibility obviously never hurts.
No, hell no. Like I said before we get too carried away here, I want to thank Dana, for putting his trust in us and inviting us out to Slamming in the Sticks this year. So that was kind of our first, on location streaming. So it was kind of a good experience for us to be out there doing that. So
that was and that was fun as hell.
Yeah, we talked to a lot of bands from that too. So.
We did, it was fun. All right, still staying at keeping it over at Blabbermouth. Former Dio guitarist Craig Goldie says that he is battling a non-life-threatening illness. The 61-year-old musician, who was born and raised in San Diego, offered an update on his health in a social media post on December 26th. He wrote in part, quote, "I've had a bit of a setback health-wise. Nothing life-threatening, but no known cause and no known cure for just one of 4 things going on. Yeesh. Everything happens for a reason, and even bad things come with a benefit. The reason and benefit is much more clear than what's going on, a story for another time, that has baffled 6 doctors and specialists. They don't know what it is either. But through a biopsy, the one became known because what my symptoms were did not match anything in their database. I have a new doctor, and I'm optimistic that this is the beginning of the end for all 4, end quote. Goldie joined Dio during the Sacred Heart tour in 1986 after original guitarist Vivian Campbell was fired from the band following a contentious business disagreement with the legendary heavy metal singer and Ronnie's management. After joining Dio, Goldie became Ronnie James Dio's right-hand man and went on to co-write such Dio classes as Dream Evil, One More for the Road, as Long as It's Not About Love, among others. For several years, Goldie played sporadic shows with Dio Disciples, which is made up of former members of Dio, along with a rotating lineup of singers, including former Judas Priest frontman Tim Ripper Owens. Goldie played in Vengeance, Rough Cut, and Giuffria before joining Dio. Dream Evil was the first Dio album Goldie played on, recorded in 1987, but he left the group shortly thereafter, returning in 2000 to help record Magica. Craig had left to do solo work, re-emerging in 1991, touting his Craig Goldie's Ritual project, a group that involved Mike Stone on lead vocals, bassist Tom Rucci, keyboard player Doug Allen, and drummer Carl Morelli. He left Dio again shortly after the release of Magica album due to family commitments, at which point Doug Aldrich stepped in. Aldrich then joined Whitesnake, facilitating Goldie's final return to Dio, and the wheels on the bus go round and round.
Right.
So not to get anything buried in the bottom of the story there, but it's good to hear that Craig is finally starting to, it looks like they're finally starting to figure out what's wrong with him. Sounds like he's got a lot of shit going on. So hopefully, if it sounds like they've got like the first thing figured out, maybe it'll kind of snowball from there, and maybe they'll get a few of the other things figured out. So here's hoping, for Craig's sake. And then obviously we hear anything, any updates, we'll pass those along to you guys. And Dana says we have an open invitation to live stream from any of their shows, which is awesome to know. So we're definitely going to take you up on that at some point in the future, Dana. I can promise you that. So
maybe in Florida next year. Who knows?
Maybe in Florida next year. All goes well. Yeah, that would be fun as shit.
It would be, yeah. So, like I said, it's like we're not we're not by no means the biggest podcast out here doing this. By no means, because I mean you got Eddie Trunk and you got crap. I just went blank again. but you got like a lot of those guys like that's been around the block a few times. So Lou Brutus is out there doing stuff. So it's you got people like that out there doing stuff, and just to be where we are, we're like way above where we ever thought we would be right now. So
2 years in, yeah,
just like Randy. I think Randy Blythe said it best. It's like we're just out here doing what we enjoy doing, and then at some point, this may become a business, and then we're going to be like, oh wow. So
right.
Then luckily I've I'm a manager now, so I kind of manage a lot of stuff now. So it's kind of we may not have to hire a lot of people outside of the circle here, but if we do, I'm okay. If we do and we get to that point, that'd be awesome. But
it definitely wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if we ended up turning into Metalheads Unite LLC or some shit like that. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Oh man. Anyway, I didn't have any more, so I don't know if you had any more stories. But
all right, I do have a couple of things that I can kind of condense down and make them a little shorter. Staying over at Blabbermouth, MVD Marquee Collection has set a January 20th, 2023 release date for the Ultimate Edition Blu-ray and Standard Edition DVD of Anvil's acclaimed documentary, Anvil, The Story of Anvil. The new version of the film will arrive in time for its 13th anniversary and will feature remastered picture and sound, as well as a new exclusive epilogue interview with director Sasha Gervasi and Anvil frontman Steve Lips Kudlow and drummer Rob Reiner, moderated by former TV host Matt Pinfield. The remastered Anvil, The Story of Anvil, received its premiere in conjunction with Beyond Fest on September 22nd in LA at the Saban Theater, while Anvil also performed. This was followed by a Q&A session with Kudlow, Reiner, and producer Rebecca Yeldum and Gervasi, moderated by Steve-O from Jackass. So there you go. You can check that out coming up in a couple of weeks. And moving over to Loudwire for my last one. Police in the small Australian town of Castlemaine, Victoria, are asking for the public's help in tracking down a stolen record collection and music equipment estimated to be worth around $150,000. The theft occurred sometime between September 19th and 28th earlier this year. Quote, once inside the property, it is understood the burglar stole around 1,000 rare collectible LP records, amplifiers, speaker cables, and other stereo equipment, end quote, the Goldfields Crime Investigation Unit stated in a press release on December 25th. While the press release doesn't state all of these specific records that were stolen, it does provide a list of artists and the estimated value of those items, including 4 Metallica pieces worth about $3,000. Other artists in the stolen collection include AC/DC, Marillion, Jethro Tull, Frank Zappa, Genesis, Pink Floyd, Jimi Hendrix, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Black Sabbath. The total amount of individual LPs in the collection is to be believed around 1,000. Victoria police have shared photos of the missing items, which are seen above in the story, which shows some of the Marillion albums, as well as the AC/DC Volume 1 and Volume 2 Australian box sets. The only Metallica vinyl seen in the photos is the deluxe box set reissue of Ride the Lightning that came out in 2016. While it is no longer available for purchase, the box set is still somewhat easy to find online, at least in the U.S. So, just like so many times we talked about earlier in the year where bands were getting, their vans broken into, their studios broken into, or whatever. Hell, who was it? Fuck, I just went blank. Shit. The Agonist, the lead singer, the lead singer of the Agonist. She had some of her stage clothes stolen from the backstage area of a concert venue, a couple months ago. So I mean,
I think somebody did that hoping she would just go around nude, but
I mean, but anyway, people just can't keep their hands off other people's shit. It's ridiculous,
little sticky fingers out there.
Yeah. So. But so that's all. Those are all my current event stories for the week.
I got a couple of headlines here. Actually, one of them kind of was I was going to use as a story, but it wasn't really as long as I thought it was. So I was just like, well, I'll just discuss it in the headline. But
cool.
Cannibal Corpse has teamed up with Death by Disc for a handful of death metal frisbees. The collaboration has resulted in prints of both the Violence Unimagined and Butchered at Birth artwork, as well as a few different frisbees with the Cannibal Corpse logo on it. You can get them for $28.99 over at Death by Disc. Cannibal Corpse's merch offerings lately have been varied, including everything from a ripped-off face mask to some delicious coffee. The face mask might also be delicious. We haven't checked, so it's pretty funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's just what I'm saying. Like, metal is into so much crazy stuff that we don't hear about. Like we did some stories over the past year with different.
Just kind of like different like side projects and stuff like that, coffee and beer and whiskey, and now we got frisbees now. I mean,
yeah. Sorry, I got distracted. I had a message from Chris Zinzak over at Decibel Geek. So,
oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, so I was actually they do a segment on their show on Friday nights called the bracket. They do like a bracket brawl of albums that they actually did 1992, which we've done on this show. So I was kind of interested to see where theirs went, and kind of landed the same place we did. So Pantera, Vulgar took everything. So
yeah,
or actually no, maybe it didn't. Maybe what was the?
I'm gonna have to look.
It was in the like ours did. I'm talking about theirs. Theirs was Pantera and somebody, and I think the other band took it all. I can't.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, which was wild. I think it may have been Jackal, and I was just like, what? Whatever.
If that's the case, then that's an upset.
I asked them if they counted the mail-in ballots, but they didn't. But they didn't answer. So.
Yeah, the absentee ballots got counted twice.
He just messaged me and said, "Hey man, sorry, everything was short last night. We tied one on during the show." I'm like, "Yes." I said, Aaron was about 5-pack in by the time they ended the show. So
Jesus,
it was pretty funny. Which it was kind of like. It's cool because they just sit around and they do this, and they'll have a few beers while they're doing it. And they're having a good time. So,
oh hell, that's not a big deal. I mean, hell, my brother's show, they're they're having a few drinks during the show, but hell, my brother's at his house. He's not going anywhere.
Well, we would probably. You wouldn't, but I would probably do something like that too.
Right? Yeah, I
10 o'clock on Saturday morning. If I'm drinking on 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, I might have a problem. But
yeah.
Anyway, some other headlines. Dude beats Super Mario 64 in less than 20 minutes with a drum kit.
What?
Right? Yeah, I was just like, I read the story, but I didn't see a video, so I'd be interested in watching this just to see how he did that with a drum kit, which is pretty wild. But.
Well, it would probably have to have been one of those Rock Band or Guitar Hero drum kits, right?
I think it was. Yeah, it was something that he hooked to the game. So
okay, all right. I mean, I can see that being compatible, but yeah, I would actually like to see video of that.
But they were talking about how normally it takes 14 hours or something to beat this thing if you played it through with the controller. I'm just like, wow, to speed it up that much with a drum kit's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can listen to Metallica's Lars Ulrich read a special Christmas story, The Dinosaur That Pooped Christmas. So they didn't say like I didn't catch where they said that was you could listen to that at, but I'm sure it's on a lot of different platforms.
It's probably on Napster.
Well, yeah, I don't know Napster.
That'd be fun. What would be ironic is if it was like exclusively on Napster or some shit.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like he worked out a deal with them or something. That'd be
yeah. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. If they could have got money out of the first time, they would have even had an issue with it. I'm sure. So,
well, of course.
But I mean, I think that it's like, to me, it almost seems like a prequel to what the bands are going through now with the streaming platforms. It's like if you would have got on board with Metallica back in the Napster days, maybe you wouldn't have this problem. So,
well, I mean, that's kind of true. I mean, they were the ones who took all the shit, but they were kind of like ahead. They were kind of they were driving the force against them because they weren't making any, they weren't getting any, money from their music. So, that's not right. I mean, if you putting out there, you're putting the content out there, then you should be paid for it. I mean, so I mean, yeah, they were the ones who took the hit and got all the shit for it. But at the same time, here we are in 2022, and people are
getting 0.007 cents a stream.
Yeah, so there you go. So I mean, who's the asshole now, really?
Yeah,
so, I mean,
something to think about, that's for sure. So, we had Black Sabbath's Geezer Butler had pneumonia. He got diagnosed with that on Christmas Day. Hopefully, I haven't seen an update, but
I haven't either.
Hopefully, he's on the healing end of that. So
I'm kind of hoping it's a no news is good news kind of thing. As far
same. Yeah, so
he's not on the in memoriam list. So there you go.
And hopefully, we don't start out the year with that either. So
yeah, let's hope.
Then we had Anita Strauss taps the Los Angeles Rams team doctor for her meniscus repair surgery, which I think that's a pretty good.
Yeah, you could definitely do a lot worse than getting a team doctor to do it.
That's a doctor that sees it a lot, so especially in football. So I mean, I think he would probably be a pretty good option there for her. So I will say this. Rehab is a lot worse than the surgery sometimes. So,
oh yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all.
I tore my ACL, so it was kind of a little bit different than the meniscus repair. But
yeah,
Power Man 5000 is in the middle of working on a new album. The goal is to have it done quickly. So, so any Power Man 5000 fans out there, or like Rob Zombie.
Yep.
Metal War shares Metal in the Arctic mini documentary about concert in Svalbard, Norway. So there we. That's another kind of. I was going to do that story too because I knew you had the Anvil story with the documentary, and I said, well, and then I realized it wasn't that long either. So there was like a lot of stories that just weren't long. So it's kind of
In all honesty, it was kind of a quiet week, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of expect that during the holidays. So I mean,
yeah,
people aren't doing a whole lot. So I mean, they also New Year's shows to talk about next week or something. But and then Nickelback's Mike Kruger on Meshuggah's recent concert in New York said they absolutely ripped the roof off the venue. So this is what I'm saying. Like Nickelback gets a lot of shit, but Mike Kruger is definitely a big metalhead. So
yeah, he's a huge metalhead.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny to hear him talk about going to Meshuggah and then they play the style of music that they do. But you got to do what makes you the money. So
that's true.
And then last but not least, we're about a year away from a New Testament album, according to insiders for Testament. So with that being said, I dare Loudwire or anybody to prematurely put out a top 10 next year. So
right. Yeah, I think I saw that story, and I think Eric Peterson said it was going to be hopefully around maybe November.
Okay. So
I think
maybe get it in before Loudwire does their end of year stuff.
Well, it'll be November. Loudwire will have their top 50 of 2023 done by then.
Yeah. So, which is crazy, but
we're only half kidding, Loudwire.
Right? Yeah. Well, don't quit putting out content. We need you for the news, but
that's true.
You can quit doing the list though. We can quit doing those.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find that real quick. because they've added some stories since I pulled it up last. So
Yep.
Damn, they made me load more. I didn't get that far. Oh yeah, they had a lot of shit yesterday. Oh damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go as far because, like I said, I spent all day yesterday trying to narrow these albums down. I didn't even listen to a new album, which I feel bad about because I'm always bad about harking on these other people about doing stuff prematurely, and then I didn't even listen to the end of the year, the last releases of the year. So,
well, the funny thing was, and it's kind of ironic that you mentioned that because I actually have the list pulled up because obviously we'll talk about what's coming out next week, and I looked at the list because I did think it was weird that you asked me for the stories like always, but you didn't ask me what album I was going to listen to, and I did listen to one, so I do have an album review. So
oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I've got one. But yeah, there wasn't much, and the album that I was going to listen to at first ended up being like a greatest hits / cover album. I was like,
I think there was a lot of that in re-releases and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
I think it was like a 16 or something maybe. There were
2 EPs, 3 re-releases, and I think as far as brand new releases, I think it was 8. I think that's all there was. So I ended up picking one out. So yeah, I ended up picking one out and listened to it and put an album review together about it. So.
All right, cool. Well, at least I don't feel so bad since at least one of us did their homework. So, oh man,
yeah.
All right, yeah, they were. There's a thing that Loudwire had put out for next year. They put out the 50 most anticipated rock and metal albums of 2023. On their thing. So I was wanting to talk about that real quick. Well, not real quick, probably, but
not with 50.
As quick as we can. So
right.
But it just lets you know that the what we're looking forward to for next year and how much of an issue we're probably going to have with narrowing this down again. So but they got Jared James Nichols with a self-titled release on January 13th. I'm not real familiar with him, but it seems like he's had a few albums out here and there. So, and this is one I'm kind of looking forward to is Obituary, Dying of Everything. That's coming out on the 13th as well.
Yep. And I guarantee you Dana's looking forward to that too. So.
Oh yeah. And you got VV, which is Billy Vallow. Neon Noir, it's coming out on the 13th as well. The solo album there, and did something. I don't know how big of a fan you are of Catatonia, but they got a new album coming out, Sky Void of Stars, on the 20th.
Yeah, I haven't heard as much of Catatonia's stuff as I probably should have, but that'll be an album worth checking out for sure.
Yeah. I know that, like, the City Burials came out in 2020. I remember listening to that one, and I didn't care as much for it as I did some of their previous stuff. But that's not really much.
Dana already has the Obituary pre-ordered.
Yeah, there you go. Then they got Main Skin Rush. That's coming out on the 20th. I'm not real familiar with that band.
I know of them. I don't think I've heard any of their stuff yet.
They got a Smashing Pumpkins on, which we don't care, but
nah, not really.
If it ain't got nothing to do with wrestling, we don't care what he's doing. So
it's true.
Then you got Steve Vai with Vigash. That's coming out on the 27th. That may be kind of interesting.
Vigash?
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a compilation with somebody or
okay,
or what. But
that's weird.
Yeah,
interesting album title.
Yeah. Hitching your Vigash.
Yeah, that's right. I know.
White Reaper got asking for a ride.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. So if nobody's familiar with those guys, they actually did a cover on the Metallica Black album.
The Black, on the Blacklist of Sad But True.
Yeah, and it was actually good too.
It was.
So I'm kind of looking forward to this album. So.
Same.
Yeah, so that's going to be January 27th, and the album cover is actually pretty cool too. So we'll probably be talking about that a couple times next year. So.
Speaking of album covers, hint.
Yeah, that's coming up as well. So,
yep.
And then I can never remember the name of this damn band. It's Sasquatch
I think it's Sanguisugabog.
There we go.
I think I finally figured out how to say it.
Well, it's in tree language on the album cover, so I can't see it. So,
Gotcha. All right.
But their Homicidal Ecstasy album's coming out February 3rd. Then we got the Winery Dogs coming out with their third album on February 3rd. We got Delane coming out with Dark Waters.
Okay.
February 10th. Of course, we got another one I'm looking forward to, In Flames, Foregone, coming out on February 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Paramore, which we don't care much about Paramore here, but Loudwire covers it also. Pierce the Veil, The Jaws of Life, coming out on the 10th. Of course, we got one that me and you both have been talking about on here, Avatar, Dance Devil Dance, coming out on February 17th.
Man, that I'm calling this one. I know this is early, but I'm calling this one right now. Just based on that first single, I have and especially based on Hunter Gatherer, because if I remember correctly, when we did our very first show, we were doing the 2020 year in review. If I remember correctly, without looking back at our notes, I think you and I both had that as our album of the year for 2020. If I remember correctly, I may be wrong. I think it was mine. I don't remember if it was yours. But
actually, I think we both agreed that year. So
yeah,
I think the rest of it was kind of.
So based on the first single alone, I have a feeling that that's going to be a freaking top 10 contender next year.
Yeah.
I really think so. And Dano, who are you talking about? Who's from Ohio? Who? I'll give you a second to answer. I saw the question a little late. I'm not exactly sure who you're talking about. Well, whoever it is you are talking about, if they are from Ohio, I'll try not to hold it against them. So
then we got another one that we're looking forward to, Dope with Blood Money Part 0, coming out on February 24th.
That'll be Sanguisugabog. Yeah, I don't know if they're from Ohio or not.
That sounds like a language they speak up there. I don't know.
It really does. It really does. Yeah.
And we have Godsmack Lighting Up the Sky, which is going to probably be unfortunately going to be their last release ever, according to what they're looking at right now. Of course, things do change, but
that's true. You never say never. I'm obviously going to be interested to see what that sounds like, because coming off of When Legends Rise,
I don't know how they're going to top that album.
I don't know how they're going to top it either.
Yeah, maybe that's why they want to get out, man. Get out while they're on top.
Yeah, maybe. Because I mean, was.
I mean, how do you? I wonder if that's one of the things we need to start asking bands. Have you ever recorded something and going, "Damn, I don't know if I could top that." That would be kind of interesting to know, especially people like with Hidden Intent that's had a few albums out that we've talked to. So. Been nice, been cool to ask that. Hey, have you ever written anything and be like, damn, I don't know if I can top this. But we got Insomnium out with Anno 1696 on the February 24th.
Okay, there you go.
Of course, we got one that we're both going to be interested in. Steel Panther on the Prowl coming out on the 24th.
Oh, that's good. That's gonna be a banger. I guarantee.
Always never too late to get some pussy tonight. So
never.
They just amaze me with some of the shit they come up with.
And see, that's the funny thing about Steel Panthers. Like, all of their stuff it's funny and it's vulgar,
right?
But if you just take the lyrics out and actually focus on the music, the compositions are really solid. They really are. I mean, Satchel is a fucking great guitar player.
Yeah,
he's a great guitar player.
Yeah. And we got Enslaved with Hamdul. That's coming out on March 3rd. We got Haken with Fauna. That's coming out on March 3rd. That may be an interesting album.
Yeah.
Then we got Chelsea Grin, Suffer in Heaven, coming out on March 17th. Not a big Chelsea Grin fan, but I'll probably still check it out just because.
Yeah.
And we got Papa Evil with Skeletons on March 17th. That could probably go either way. So depending on what mood they're in. Another one I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, I do know that, because Dana was asking if Sanguisugabog is from Ohio. I'm still not 100% sure. Pop Evil is from Michigan.
There you go. Like I said, they've got some great stuff, but then again, they got some other stuff that's kind of like, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's kind of like a lot of other bands that play kind of like that music. It's
right.
It could be hard hitting and it could be kind of ballady. You just never know. But Pop Eagle's definitely a band that I like some of their stuff. So then another one I'm looking forward to is August Burns Red with Death Below. That's in March 24th. Then we got Baby Metal with the other one on March 24th. I'm not a big Baby Metal fan, but
yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of those acts where it's kind of like, to each their own. And if you like it, that's totally fine. Of course it is. Of course it's fine if you like it.
Metal.
Well, yeah, it is. But I mean, I've heard it before. I just really I don't know.
And we got Ne Obliviscaris with Exile coming out on March 24th. And then another one that I'm looking forward to that, probably if it's any thing that they've done in the past, I believe it would probably be in my contenders for next year. Bury Tomorrow with the Seventh Son. That's coming out on March 31st. Big Bury Tomorrow fan. I love those guys. And then, of course, one that we're going to be talking about a lot of, I'm afraid, is Metallica 72 Seasons release date on April 14th.
Yep.
And then, let's see. Ace Frehley is going to have one out next year. Haven't really got a date on that one. And, of course, Alice Cooper's coming out with a new one. Anthrax.
Really? Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, Avenged Sevenfold. Blink 182, which actually Body Count's coming out with a new album next year. That'd be kind of cool. And of course, Butcher Babies is coming out with a new one next year, which I can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
Cattle Decapitation is going to have a new one. The Cure is coming out with a new album, which I didn't know they were still around. That's kind of cool.
I didn't either.
Then, of course, we already know that Fear Factory's been throwing around new albums, but we don't know who's singing it. But they got a new album. They're going to have a new album coming out, so we'll see.
According to Dino Cazares, we don't know who the singer is, and even when we find out who the singer is, we're still not going to know. We're still not going to know who it is,
which I think is great because it's giving us a chance to hear somebody new. So
yeah.
And then it's probably going to change the sound of Fear Factory a little, and hopefully it's for the best. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that Dino and Burton, they had that literal physical falling out at the end, but I wonder. It kind of makes me wonder what sound Dino's going to want going forward. Because I mean, say what you want about the fallout and everything, but I mean, Burton had a pretty, he had a pretty distinctive sound.
Man, he like. That's what I was like, man, I was so surprised when I seen it because that was like probably one of his best vocal performances was on that last album. And
it was absolutely solid. Yeah.
I was just like, damn, man, it sucks that y'all are quitting, getting in trouble and, getting into it now. And
it's like the timing couldn't have been much worse. Yeah.
Like, damn. But, you got to do what's best for the best for the band. So,
yeah.
We got Frozen Soul coming out with a new release next year.
Nice.
Actually, I think I did their review last year, but
if I remember correctly, yeah, I think you did.
And then Guns N' Roses are coming out with a long-awaited album next year. Says February 25th, so we'll see.
Was it Chinese Democracy too?
I don't know. It doesn't have an album name yet, so it's kind of odd. But
well, then that's one of those things.
It's been 15 years. So
I was about to say with Guns N' Roses, it's one of those things where I'll fucking believe it when I see it. So
right. Then we got Immortal coming out with War Against All with no release date. Then of course Judas Priest is going to have a new release next. Man, these big names. Oh my god!
I'm telling you, man, 23 is going to be just as fun. It's going to be.
Check this out. King Diamond, The Institute, with no release date.
Oh my lord!
Yes.
God.
Then Mammoth WVH is coming out with a new album next year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty quick turnaround too.
Yeah.
Then we got Mark.
When you're playing all the instruments yourself, you can kind of pump out music at your own speed.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, look at Merciless Law did 2 EPs and 2 full albums in a year. It's like, damn.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, talented guy though. So
absolutely.
Then Merciful Fate's coming out with a new album next year as well. So
let me damn.
They haven't had an album since '99. So holy shit.
They're a little overdue.
Yeah, just a little bit. Of course, My Chemical Romance has got a new one coming out, which your daughter will be happy about that.
Oh, so. I was just about to say Kalo flipper lid about that.
And then we got a new Nightwish album coming out next year.
I'm hopefully it's better than the last one.
Yeah. And then we got Nile with a new album next year.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and check this one out. Overkill, a new album next year.
Yeah, so. I am looking forward to that one.
And probably another one that we'll rush out and get just because of who it is. Seven Dust is going to have a new album next year. So then we got Stained with a new release next year, which they haven't had anything as a band since 2011. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see. And man, like, don't ever sell a singer like Aaron Lewis short, man. He did a whole, like, when I seen him at Louder in Life, he did a whole like Stained compilation that was all like, I thought it was death metal. I was just like, dude, is this really Aaron Lewis? Like, what the fuck? Like, he was like, it was hard, dude. I was like, damn, they can go hard if they want to, I guess. But I mean, just like the Foo Fighters proved that they could do that with the Dream Widow. So
I'll admit I've never been a fan of Aaron Lewis.
Yeah, not really either. But I was kind of amazed that, Chris, like at that point of the concert, he was like the right before the main, kind of like in the last 4 acts. So they're all right there on them, back and forth on the main stage. So you didn't have no choice you didn't have no other choices at that point. But
well, yeah.
So, but anyway, it definitely surprised me. I was just like, wow, I didn't expect that. So,
and yeah, Dana, to answer your question real quick. Yep. Overkill. Really, their 20th, if I remember correctly, it's going to be their 20th LP.
I don't know. It's up there. I know that
it's up there.
I think they just had one out in like 19 or something. It said. Yeah. The Wings of War was in 19. So.
Yep, it was. Yep, because Mean Green Killing Machine was in 17.
Yep, which was a great fucking album.
Oh God, yeah, it was amazing.
Then we got Suicide Silence with Remember You Must Die. No release date on that one. Then we got Within Temptation is going to have a new album next year.
Oh, there you go.
And I think that was the last of it. So,
and then I mean, you just went through 50 albums that are coming out. There's some huge names in there, and that doesn't even count anything that that hasn't even been announced yet.
Right, because we already know that the Testaments already said they were going out with something new, and we know Death Angel's working on new stuff. Non-Point's in the studio. I don't know what they're doing, but they're either doing an EP or a new LP, which is you can't ever go wrong with that. So
yeah, I mean, our heads are going to be spinning in 2023.
Yeah. So and then Trivium. We haven't heard nothing from Trivium in a year. So Matt Heafy's overdue. So
yeah, Dana, man, we hope you have a happy New Year too, buddy.
Yeah, man. Be safe out there if you're doing anything, brother.
Be careful. Well, he texted me the other day and said he was doing a run heading out to Las Vegas. So he's on the road right now. So yeah, man, be careful headed out that way. So
yeah, no doubt. So Vegas is a party city, so especially New Year's weekend. So
yeah, but yeah, happy New Year, Dana, man. You take care out there. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, so we got that out of the way. So let me see here. Guess we will go through the weekend metal history real quick before we get into the album covers and the countdown and the playlist.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I only have three little stories here. So
I have barely half a page.
Oh, so this won't take long then. So.
It's not going to take long at all.
So this week in metal history, December 28th, 2015. Of course, we know Lemmy, the vocalist and bassist for Motorhead, died at his home in Los Angeles, California, 4 days after his 70th birthday, following a short battle with an extremely aggressive cancer. Lemmy played in several rock groups in the 60s, including Rockin' Vickers, and worked as a roadie for Jimi Hendrix and the Nice before joining the space rock band Hawkwind in 1971, singing lead on their hit Silver Machine. So it's kind of crazy to hear. If you've heard Hawkwind today, you couldn't imagine Lemmy singing in that band.
I know.
But he was there, so it's kind of crazy to hear all like the Jimi Hendrix stuff makes sense, but then like Hawkwind and I don't know what Rockin' Vickers is, but I'm sure it wasn't metal because Black Sabbath didn't create it yet.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I think it was just like something, not I think Black Sabbath was different enough to be like, oh, this is something new. We got to call it something different. This ain't rock,
Yeah.
So
it absolutely was.
So there you go. So, but yeah, to see Lemmy in those names is kind of like wow. But got to start somewhere. So
yep.
And then December 31st, 1984, Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen crashed his Corvette Stingray on the A57 outside of Sheffield. Allen lost his left arm in the accident. Allen was on his way to a New Year's Eve party at his family's home when a Jaguar passed him. The driver had been egging Allen on and would not allow him to pass. In his rage to pass the driver, he did not see a turn up ahead and lost control of the car. He was thrown from the car with his left arm severed due to the seatbelt not being properly fastened. So there you go. Story there. If you ever watched the story of Def Leppard, that's a pretty good movie actually. So
yeah, it wasn't bad. I've seen it.
Yeah. And then last but not least, December 31st, 1973, Australian band AC/DC made their live debut when they appeared at Checkers Bar in Sydney. So there you go. Never knew that they made their debut on New Year's Eve. So
yeah,
pretty well.
All right. Well, as far as my contribution to the final edition of This Week in Metal History, we start off with December 24th, 2000, Within Temptation releases Mother Earth. 12/24 of 2002, Yngwie Malmsteen releases The Genesis. And what would the final list be without an appearance from the greatest guitar player of all time, Yngwie Malmsteen?
Album of the year.
Yep. Christmas Day of 2002, Marty Friedman releases Music for Speeding. 12/26 of 1984, Running Wild releases Gates to Purgatory. 12/27/98, Talisman releases Truth. 12/27 of 2010, TNT releases Engine. And last but not least, 12/28 of 2005, Dragon Force releases Inhuman Rampage, which peaked at number 103 on the Billboard 200. So, with that being said, that is the end of This Week in Metal History. I want to thank, I don't know if they'll ever see this. I want to thank Metalhead Marv over at This Day in Metal over on Twitter. Even though we're done with this segment, if you don't follow Metalhead Marv over on This Day in Metal over on Twitter, he's and on Facebook, go ahead and look him up, give him a follow. And I also want to thank Dr. Feelgood and Ms. Hyde on Facebook for their contributions. This definitely would have been a lot more difficult without those two websites. So, like I say, who knows if they're even going to see this, but maybe if somebody who knows them passes on the thank you, a very, very huge thank you from Metalheads Unite. But that is going to be the end of the historical album releases for sure. Like Jason said, we'll still talk about anniversaries and stuff like that. But we're done with the album. We're done with the album releases.
Yeah. Yeah. So
moving on. Do you want to do Hitting the Road real quick? I literally.
Yes. But I was going to say I didn't write that down because I didn't see a lot, and I was like,
like I say,
Chris handle it.
I have three things. That's it.
I didn't figure it was a lot. So.
I was amazed at how little there was, but so we can literally just knock this out real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Hitting the Road for the week of the 24th through the 30th over at the PRP. We have The Convalescence, Casket Robbery, and Ignominious going out on tour starting March 10th in Jackson, Michigan at the Music Box, rounding out on March 25th in Chesterfield, Michigan at the Diesel Concert Lounge. There is no Nashville date, but on March 22nd, they will be in Murfreesboro, Tennessee at Crossroads, and they will be in Knoxville the next night at the Brickyard Bar, a venue that we know well.
Yep. We were there.
We were there. And we wish more people would have been there, but
right.
Then, God forbid, and Bleeding Through have announced a couple new dates together. January 6th in Sayreville, New Jersey at the Starland Ballroom, and January 7th in Worcester, Mass at the Palladium. So coming up very, very shortly, next Friday and Saturday. Then Power Man 5000 is going to be going to Australia for their Tonight the Stars Revolt 21st anniversary. Those 5 dates will be January 12th in Brisbane at the Zoo, January 13th in Sydney at Manning Bar, January 14th in Melbourne at Max Watts, January 20th in Adelaide at the Gov, and January 21st in Perth at Rosemount. And that is it for hitting the road.
Wow, they're going to be down in Hidden Intense neck of the woods.
That's right. Yeah, they will. So. Adelaide, absolutely.
Yeah. So. All right.
So yeah, that was it. I was like, really? Just 3 tours? Okay, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Right.
What are you gonna do?
Hey, did you want to kind of split this up a little bit? You want to do the album covers real quick, and then
sure.
Then we can do the playlist, and then we'll finish it out with the year-end stuff here. So
yeah, we can do that. Yeah. So we have talked about this on the show many, many times, and you guys are going to see here in just a minute the proof of our opinion that there's not another genre of music in the world, as far as we're concerned, that can hold a candle to cover art as far as hard rock and heavy metal. So Jason put this together. I mean, this isn't like a ranking or
no. It's just some of the best album covers I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
from the year, but
right. So I mean, so this is, we're going to get to all of our rankings here in a minute, but this is just basically a compilation of just some of the good shit that came out this year, and there was so much of it.
And for those on the radio, if you want to go back and look at this later, you can on our YouTube page or Facebook or wherever you want to. Look up on our socials there. We'll have it posted there, so you can actually see the album review. Just fast forward to what.
An hour and 50 minutes.
50 minutes, yeah. So an hour and 50 minutes. Well, my computer's still set on Virginia time because this is when I set it up. So when I was at Blue Ridge, and I haven't changed it. So
yeah,
I need to switch it back. But
yeah, so we are an hour and 50 minutes into the show.
Yeah. So if you want to fast forward through all that because you've already heard it, then that's fine. If you want to listen to the whole show again, that'd be appreciated too.
Oh yeah, that'd be great too. Yeah. So
if you could put up with us that long, so.
Yeah. So without further ado, here we go. So, leading off, we've got Divisive by Disturbed.
Yeah. Which Disturbed's got that iconic.
The guy.
The guy. Yes.
Yeah, the guy. That's all. That's
he's actually in chains, and his chest is split in half. So
he's pulling his own chest cavity open.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of a. I don't know. I think it's kind of got a double meaning to that.
Yeah.
From the album name and then that. So. I think it's almost like the world's tearing itself apart because of division. Is what I take it, but. It can't be more true, honestly. So,
not this year. Hang on. What? Yeah, there it is. Okay, I know there was one album cover on here that I couldn't remember the name of it because it's in death metal font. So.
Oh yeah. Well, luckily I think I remember all these.
Well, I do know what band it is now. So you got Disturbed. Then you got Wake Up Dead by Insight,
which was a great album cover.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of simple, but it's still a great artwork with it.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, you don't find artwork this detailed in other genres. You just don't.
So this is the thing. I would love to take these covers and put them into a calendar. I would.
Oh, that'd be badass.
Yeah, I would. Oh shit, I'd hang that motherfucker.
Yeah, that'd be badass. You got the guy back. You got this little guy back here in the back. This little zombie. I mean, he's got like a pot leaf on his shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, just little details,
right?
Little details.
And the thing about this is you can look at these and be like see something different every time if you pay attention. It was what's so cool about it.
Yeah. Then we have Werewolves with From the Cave to the Grave.
Yeah, this is man. The thing that got me with this was this guy throwing the baby. I was like, holy shit.
Right. Yeah.
But
you got this dude right here. He's chucking a baby into the wheelbarrow here. You got these assholes right here who look like they're laughing about it. A whole bunch of, severed, dismembered carcasses here. I don't know what this I don't know what she's doing back here in the background. I don't know what the fuck she's got going on. This guy, well, of course, that's a statue. But I mean, you got the bring out your dead cart over here.
Right.
So I mean,
yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
The whole thing is basically a Renaissance painting.
Right. Exactly.
So. Then this one, Villain of the Story, Divided.
Yeah, which was a great album, by the way.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go back to listen to that one. That's one I didn't get to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, this is kind of like kind of I'm not sure like how to take this. It's like it could be a different, it could be like an inner struggle type.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could look at it that way. And then again, you could look at it as, this sides again. You know what I mean? Just kind of like the world's been divided. Which
well,
it's like I said, that's the whole purpose of the government is to divide us. But
I mean,
that's for a clue shot.
But I mean, what's weird about it is if you look at the cover itself. I mean, obviously.
Right.
But you kind of have Negan against.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like Negan versus
Negan versus like one of the fucking White Walkers for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's kind of weird. You have
still a cool cover. Though.
You have AMC versus HBO over here.
Yeah, the ratings war.
Yeah. Then you got Frenesy.
Yeah, which was
Fears Apocalypse. Too, yeah. And again. Like you said about talking about the Insight album cover. I mean, there's like the focal point, the guy right here, he's the focal point.
Right.
But, you start looking in the background. I mean, you got this little guy over here. He's dead. I don't know what this building's supposed to.
That's the part of the clock. Yeah, the clock.
And then,
and then you got the helicopter that maybe hit it. I don't know.
Right. Maybe. Pretty then, wild. You got a whole bunch of shit up here.
That's actually if you focus in on that, that's actually like a flyer for a bunch of bands.
I was about to say it does look like that's what it looks like. It is
because I zoomed in on it and I was just like, oh shit, that's a bunch of band names. That's pretty cool. So it's kind of like a flyer for bands for a bunch of bands, which is pretty cool.
Let's make this a little bigger. Hang on.
That's what she said.
Right. All right, hang on a second. There we go. Make it a little bit bigger. All right. And then this was an awesome album. You have Tyrannicide by Asylum.
Yeah, which Extinction AD even commented on that. He said, "Man, that's a badass album cover." Mm-hmm. Like, it is a badass album cover.
Yeah.
It's almost like this guy's like, "Bring your damn spear over here. I'll chop your ass up."
Yeah, and he's got one of these bags on his head, like from that one. He's got from like that scene from Django Unchained.
Yeah.
I can't see fucking shit out of this thing.
Yeah. Criticize.
No, nobody brought any extra bags.
Don't ask me
and mine for nothing. Yeah. Ungrateful sons of bitches. It's fucking funny. But like he better watch out. You got these guys with the spears coming up behind him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it looks like he's already took out some guys with spears. That's what I was saying.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. Yeah, he's already got 4 on the ground in front of him for sure.
Bring that spear on, buddy.
Yeah. And then one pretty much everyone's gonna know.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean Vic Rattlehead, man.
That's right, man. You can't ever go wrong with Vic. So.
Fucking iconic.
Just like if Iron Maiden was on here, Eddie would be right in the middle of it.
Yeah. But still, even with Vic Rattlehead right here in the foreground, look what you got going on.
Yeah, you got
same thing, You got,
That's the sick back there.
Yeah, the sick.
Or the dying, who knows. But
and then, the dead are right here at his feet, so. There's this burning clock tower right here. It's a bell tower rather, but
which I give Megadeth all the props in the world because that was probably the most dead on album cover of the situation that we've been going through for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. The whole city is burning in the background right here. Yeah, so
which is metaphorically for for what we've been dealing with for.
Yeah. And then, I mean, come on. I mean, just look at this thing. I mean, the totem pole itself.
Yep.
You know, then you got the small flames right here, the light emanating up to the top. You get the eyes glowing on the eagle at the top of the totem pole, and then like look, all the visages of these animals,
spirit animals, yeah, the spirit animals,
yeah, and the trees back here, and then obviously, and then of course not to be overlooked, just
sky,
the sky in the back. I mean, you don't get that. You don't. There's such a focus on how important the album art is.
Yeah. And that was a great album too, man.
Yeah. And Voidbringer Wasteland.
I always like the dude chilling out on top of the bridge or whatever it is there. Just chilling out. Then you got people hanging from behind in there.
Yeah, all these people, like hung in effigy right here.
Yeah.
This decomposed guy. Yeah, that's how he decomposed, just right there.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Hanging out.
Wasting away.
Yeah. I do like the neon right here.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool. Then all these
almost like a venue, like a venue sign saying, hey, now playing or something.
Right. You got the dead trees right here. And then, everything, the way everything is set up, it kind of like draws your eyes from this guy right here.
I like the vantage point where it's like shooting up.
It draws your eyes upward. The trees draw your eyes upwards towards, these guys hanging right here.
I don't know if I've ever seen many album covers shot at that angle. So
not really. I'm sure it's been done, but probably not too often.
Right.
And then I didn't notice this. This right here says Pontiac. I don't know if it's like supposed to be like a leftover car dealership or something.
Yeah. Who knows?
And then I actually did the review for this album. I remember this album. I remember this album cover well. I mean, this dude right here, he's, chopping at a guy right here. He's chopping at this guy, spearing this guy, not even looking.
Right. Just wait, this swinging shit, man.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's going to get it next, so I mean, but I mean, the way the mountains are done in the background, the sunset or sunrise, whatever this may be.
Very, very like Viking-like, I think.
Very Viking-like, yeah. I mean, look how jacked he is.
Yeah.
He's jacked. Yeah, fucking around. I still haven't had a chance to listen to this album,
so good.
But look at how well done this cover is. It's ridiculous. There's so much shit going on here.
Yeah. This is kind of like I pulled this one because I thought it was kind of out of the ordinary for a metal cover because it's more astronomical.
Than
it is Renaissance, So.
Right. Well, this one is done in the same vein as another one coming up, and I'm sure you probably know which one I'm talking about. But I mean, it's kind of done in the same vein. I mean, obviously the colors aren't the same as the one that's coming up, but I mean, it's kind of done the same way where the focus is in the middle of the screen or in the middle of the, it's right here in the focus is right in the middle, but then everything going on around it. So your attention is from the center out, because I mean, you have all this.
You got the little, whatever the figure is there with multiple arms coming out. And, all the different little Greek symbols there. So.
I mean, and then even like the font that they use, like
I like the way they got their like slash up through the everything.
That is cool. Very cool because it's the bottom of the B, it's the
middle of the A,
the middle of the A,
the R, and the top of the K.
So the one slash is part of all four letters. That's incredibly done.
Yeah,
I don't know who came up with that, but that is done very.
I've reached out to these guys. I may have to follow up with them too. So
yeah, because
it'd be interesting to hear the story behind that. So.
Right, and I would whoever did that word mark, it deserves full fucking credit.
Yeah, very
amazing,
very well done.
Very well done. Zeke Sky, Intergalactic Demon King. I mean.
Yeah. Well, what else do you want?
I mean, what else do you want? I mean,
when I seen this, I automatically thought Brutal Legend. When I seen dude in the background,
exactly. Hell yeah, man.
Like, this is some Brutal Legend shit. That's pretty cool. But it's
all the planets in the background. This guy going to town on that guitar. Everything is on fire.
It's like a sword going through there too.
Yeah, the piano on fire.
You the wolf or demon there out in the front. So
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's a bunch of different stuff going on.
it's
Looks like,
almost like he's taming
is
him with the guitar or something too. It's like
kinda, yeah.
kind of guiding him what he wants him to do or
Yeah.
something.
It's like this is a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there may be like some sort of conglomeration of like a scorpion in there somewhere.
Yeah, I do see that. Yeah,
Whole bunch of shit going on.
yeah, very colorful too.
Very colorful. Mantric Momentum, Trial by Fire. This one is it's a little bit more pixelated, but I mean, even having said that, this thing right here, this is, again, this is the focal point, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you got the font in the word mark, the sky, the ominous orange of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
These people right here in the foreground.
I'll say this: to put their name in that part of the picture and the color is just, it's hard to get that combination to show up like that. I don't know how they did that, but it's like just enough tint on it to make it pop,
Yeah, and then especially the font itself with like the little curly Q here on the M, and then it's not quite as pronounced here on the C here, but yeah, the composition and foreground, middle, even though this is basically the focal point, foreground, middle ground, background.
Yeah.
So you
go pretty much
everything layered.
Pretty much a standard.
But it's still layered very well. This one.
I'm guessing that was the other one you were talking about earlier.
No, it actually is not.
Oh, it's not?
Actually, it isn't. This is another good example of it because it still has more of the same color scheme as the one from Bark, but this actually isn't the one I was talking about. But this one actually fits more of the color scheme because the one from Bark has got purples and blues and a little bit of, I don't know if it's necessarily gold, but blue.
I love their font
or purple, blue, rather,
in their name. So
yeah, the font's cool.
And now it's almost like it's this like ship or something that's coming through like an inner dimension or something.
Yeah, like some sort of wormhole or something like that.
Yeah, which is
it actually reminds me, and my nerd is going to be showing here a little bit, but the very first Star Trek movie, the reboot, where Chris Pine and where it was that ship that Eric Bana, the Romulan ship that Eric Bana was the captain of. That's what that looks like right there, coming through that wormhole.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then we had get the shot, merciless destruction, which is it's super duper. What's funny to me about this one, the band font, the font that they use for their band, all of this shit going on, whatever this 3-headed Hydra monster kind of looking thing is, all these people chained up to these posts and everything, the fire coming out, and then the album. It's just so damn. It's just so damn. It's so fucking plain. I love it though.
Yeah,
I love it. So much going on. Merciless destruction.
Yeah,
it's kind of like ironic that
that was a great album too. Like I said, there was all these albums we've listened to. One of us did, and like they were all like great albums. And, we're probably going to be talking about some of these later too. So.
We have Incantation, Tricennial of Blasphemy. So definitely a lot going on here.
Yeah, a little demon there with people tied up, and
this person, you got bodies tied to whatever this thing is. Actually, I think it's
like
actually
a skull. It's part of the horn.
Actually, I think it's the horns of this big ass skull that he's sitting on, while he's pitchforking this dude right through the back. And he's kind of like hanging there like, man, what did I even do, man? I don't even know what I did.
It's almost like this is kind of what goes on in hell or something.
Right, yeah. His eye, the flames coming out of his eyes, all this super duper blurry shit in the background, but you can tell it's like buildings on fire. You have you have the remnants of an edifice right here on fire.
Well, it's almost like the background's so cool because it's kind of like it's giving you that smoky, lurky type feel because of the steam should be, and it should be like that because the steam's coming off of the heat. And if you're looking at anything like that, it's exactly what it's going to look like in a distance. Yeah. So very well done.
And then you could even tell that like this is the light source right here for the whole thing, and even it's obscured by all the smoke in the background.
don't walk toward the light.
No, I would not. But and then De Profundis, the corruption of virtue. So I mean, there is a million things to unpack
well,
here.
It's almost like the crucifixion's represented here.
Crucifixion's right.
And you got like
actually
the Crusades is represented, I think.
Yep.
And it's got like a lot of different representations in here. So.
And I mean, I don't know. Is this supposed to be the Vatican back here?
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean, there's a whole, and then here's like a zombie pope.
Yeah, it's just
I mean, so here, this looks like a zombie mother, a zombie baby riding a zombie donkey.
You got the red devil like right out in front there.
So yeah, so there's a lot going on. But I mean, and everything is colored to just give off the dark, ominous vibe. And then, like you say, right here in the middle,
in the background,
and then like right here in the middle, this is the focal point, just because it's a different color,
right?
But then it leads your eyes outward. All the.
I think this when I look at this, I almost get like the Satan kind of controlling.
Mm-hmm.
All this is Satan's work, kind of.
Yep. Yeah. Diabology, father of serpents.
Yeah, I just thought this was cool because
it's so well done.
Kind of a different, aspect of what we've already been seeing. So you don't really see a lot of stuff on the water. So
right. But I mean, the
ship there going under, and you got the light tower in the background.
Yeah,
you got this volcano exploding over in the corner.
Yeah,
the moon's black.
It's blacked out and everything.
It's like it's like an eclipse is causing all the stuff going on.
Yeah. And I mean, everything is just so well done. I mean, the water is drawn remarkably well. These clouds back up in here.
Then the serpent's out like, yeah, what's up? What you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. My house. My house.
Bring that damn ship up in here.
Yeah. Get out of here with that weak shit. And then the next one is the one I was kind of talking about as far as just the overall aesthetic of it, not necessarily the color scheme. And you'll see what I'm talking. There you go, right there.
Hex, yeah.
Yep.
Which that was a band that we had on. And we talked about this cover with them. So.
Yeah, we did. We talked about the cover art and how well done it was.
Yeah, and I think the same guy's been doing their artwork. I think is what they said. So
yep.
So hopefully he'll continue to do so. It's pretty good stuff.
Oh man, if they have any, I guarantee you, if they have any say in it, they will keep using him, and they should. I mean, look how well.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a great part of what promotes their band. So.
And the funny thing is, even though there's only basically like two colors being used, it's basically black and gold.
Yeah,
but, I mean, just the contrasts.
Yeah, the different.
I mean, look how bright her hair is. And like the hair on the goats isn't as bright, but I mean, this guy's beard going. Look how glorious that guy's beard is in that shit. Yeah, he's got it going on.
Got pictures gold now, man.
Yeah, he does. So I mean,
now I'm saying you got to do yours gold now, just to make.
I should. Yeah, I should. Should do that. I got to work on it. But I mean, it's just so well done. And then just the teeny tiny little, like the sparks.
Yeah.
They kind of the sparks almost kind of draw your eyes upward towards the background. The trees back here and everything else. But even then, you got like piles of skulls and shit right here.
When I look at this stuff, it's like as if Bob Vila went dark. Or what? Not Vila. Bob Ross.
Bob Ross had a dark period. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one, I don't know if you listened to this album. I didn't, but I was so interested on what the album cover was going to look like, and it did not disappoint. This is All Lives Splatter by Gutsaw. Look at this son of a bitch right here.
We talked about this. We talked about this album cover when we come across it. We were just he was like, I want to see what this album cover looks like, and then it came out, and I'm like, that
is incredible.
I love the All Lives Splatter. That's fucking.
It's a
great creativity.
It's a great album name. Yeah. But I mean, there's just so much gruesome. I mean, there's bodies everywhere. There's a meat grinder right here. Just these little hooks right here that just dropping the bodies in. There's a couple about to head in right here. This guy's watching. He's like, yes.
Yeah.
Just
the Igor's over there in the corner.
Right. Yeah. here's a couple of guys are here just making sure they all get thrown into the mix and everything.
Yes, master. You right on it.
And then I didn't even realize it at first. There's a bunch of little minions down here watching everything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even notice that at first.
Yeah. It's like a show, you know?
Yeah. Just so fantastically gross.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's a death metal album, so you can't expect nothing less.
And then definitely not to be outdone, we have Autopsy.
Yeah. The thing that got me is this guy's in the corner with his face gone. It's like he's sewing his own face onto the robe or whatever. Then the skull's holding a face in his hand. And
this guy's wearing everybody like a Joe Dirt trench coat right here. And then it even almost looks like the band name itself is almost kind of comprised of faces too a little bit.
Yeah.
Almost. But I mean, yeah. All of these guys are missing faces, and like you say, this guy's taking this dude's face off.
Yeah, he's like,
"I'm gonna face right there."
How humiliating is it? Say, I'm gonna take your face, and then you're gonna sew it onto my fucking robe, bitch. You know,
and then get the next guy's face because I need more. I need more for my robe.
Yeah, need more face. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. These guys are hung up in a tree upside down. They're like, I just want my face back.
Face off.
Face off. Yeah. Then we got Zentrix here with 7 Words, which was I listened to this album. It was, and I did a review on it. It was very good.
Yes, I remember you doing the review that I went and listened to. It's actually a pretty good album.
Oh, it was really good.
Yeah, I love the guy's got the little. What you call it in his hand there?
Molotov cocktail.
Molotov cocktail. Yeah. So, spear in his hand. And then you got the guy in the background with a gun on him. And he's got the gas mask on like it's, in the times, like radiation shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, right back here in the background, you got the fucking stacks from the nuclear facility back here.
Yeah.
All these dead riot police. This one looks like he's been there a minute. It looks like he's kind of melted a little.
And the one in the front there is just begging for his life at this point. So.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a flag. I thought it was a spear. He's got a flag. Okay.
Well, it kind of looks like he's got it planted in dude's ass, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to plant your flag. I mean,
well, you got to plant it somewhere. That's absolutely true. And then, one that we loved from earlier in the year, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So well done.
Yeah. Yeah. We of course, Devil was a guest on the show, and we talked to him about this is their little guy like Vic and Eddie and all them. I can't remember what they called him.
I was just about to say I'm kicking myself because I cannot remember the name of the character.
Oh man, it was character. I'll think of it in a minute. So.
It wasn't Luther, was it?
Chester the Jester. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Chester?
I think it was. I think that was what. Or Lester.
That's what it was.
Yeah, Lester.
Lester. That's what it was.
Lester the Jester.
That's what
I knew it rhymed with it.
Yeah. But I mean, like, even though there's not like a shit ton going on as far as like as a whole, you still have she's running away, everything's on fire, lightning striking. This guy's like, because obviously that, and then, what are these, some druids right here, we don't need no water, let the motherfucker burn going on over there.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to say. I don't think it really has words that are super duper legible, but yeah, I mean, even though everything's kind of concentrated, there's still all sorts of shit going on.
Yeah.
Lightning is striking these 2 buildings. This thing's on fire. The village is on fire. The druids are right here. She's running away.
As soon as I reviewed this album and seen that cover, I said, dude, this is fucking awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. Of course, this was one of the earlier albums in the year, too. So.
Yeah, it was. It came out, it came out in May.
Yeah, well,
still
front half of the year.
Yeah, front half of the year. We got Emissary, The Wretched Masquerade.
Yeah. Which I, kind of went along with the Be Quiet type. Shit.
It's
got a lot going on because
right
in front of the Capitol.
Yeah,
it's like the emissary's right in front of the Capitol, and he's such kind of like more like a kind of a play on words of silencing free speech kind of thing. So,
yeah,
you got the Uncle Sam top hat with the pentagram on it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. and then this decrepit friggin'
it's a zombie crow or something.
He's just like, I've seen some shit, man.
Yeah,
seen some shit.
What kind of stuff?
All the trees are dead. Then you see the Capitol back there in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go. Whoops! Oh, I thought I went too far. Titan's Wrath, Will of the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, if you're like this guy right here in the foreground, are you gonna like? I'm like turning around and going home.
Yeah. Fuck this.
I'm like, nah, I'm gonna pass because not only is like this the final boss right here, you got to get past these things first.
Yeah, right.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7-headed thing right here. You're supposed to go up against this thing.
That's the 7-headed whore. No,
that's right. Yeah, it is. But yeah, obviously these guys aren't having a good time right here. No. He's not having a good time. Not having a good time. Definitely not having a good time.
They're the brawler, man.
There they are. They're in the fire. They're getting speared, and then this guy's just waiting for anybody who just might happen to make it
past them,
and this guy's like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Retreat.
Exactly. Yeah. Run away. Them, Fear City.
Oh, it was so good. But yeah, it was more of a, kind of a. Man, I'm trying to remember the video game. It kind of reminds me of. It reminds me of like a video game I played, but I can't can't place it right off the bat.
But there's still so much going on though.
Yeah,
so much.
You got the little eyes and stuff coming out the sewer
down here. Yeah. You wonder what this is. I mean, did he fart? What's going on here?
You got the newspapers.
The newspapers. You got the graffiti on the walls and everything else. Then
they're just walking down this alley and we're taking over this shit.
Mm-hmm. And then
she's like scandalously dressed, even though it's like looks like apocalyptic times.
Yeah, and I know this isn't exactly like I know what an upside down cross
represents,
so it's not exactly the nicest thing, but having said that, it is still kind of like a clever way to use it in the band name, so regardless of the imagery, I know it's not great, but and then what do we got here? Onward of Epic and Inferno. Again, this one kind of reminds me of the Hexed album cover where there's still only like one or two colors being used, but it's all about gradients and shading and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Still center focus,
yep.
Outward and around leading up to the word mark for the band name.
Which is kind of like right in between the two peaks of the thing. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And even all of these point right to this guy.
Yeah. Like everything's kind of pointing to what they want you to see. So.
Right. So, and there's definitely, method to the madness a lot of times with a lot of this shit. I mean, the compositions aren't done accidentally. They aren't.
Yeah. Is this the one you had to look up?
No. The gut saw one was
okay.
What was the name of this one?
You know what? I can't remember the name of this.
Hang on, give me just a second. I'll look it up. But anyway, regardless of the Cosmic Cauldron, and this is it's like a futuristic dystopian skyscraper in the shape of a cactus.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Let me look this up. Cosmic.
Needless.
Oh, I see it. Well, I see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see it now. Yep, there it is. Okay, but then you got this little alien guy here. These look like they're astronauts that are dead because it looks like a space suit with the little glass helmet cracked open.
Right.
So these guys didn't make it. All these little planetoids in the back. This thing right here, this field of this band of stars right here. All this stuff in the background. You're obviously on an alien planet, but
the little thing creeping out the side of the building, it's like a spiked penis or something.
Yeah, it's like, I'm very happy to be here. Whoa, we can tell.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah. Yes, that's
man.
a lot. It's still a lot going. And even though I had a hard time reading it, it's kind of a cool word mark.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
That's cool. Then the gloom in the corner with Trinity.
yeah. Which I've reached out to these guys as well. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
a lot going on here.
I kind of feel bad because this one came out in October, and I just now like found out about it like 2 weeks ago. So I'm just like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean that's gonna
And,
happen.
they're a metalcore band, so I'm just like, how did I miss it? But whatever.
You kind of got like, these three are obviously, I would say, probably the Trinity,
Right.
and then I don't know who this guy is supposed to be. I don't know if he's like helping them or trying to stop them, but these demons and all this shit in the background, one's getting blown away, one's getting run through, and she's looking like she's gonna take out these three guys right here,
Yeah.
or I don't know where they're coming out of, and they could
RoboCop or Terminator looking guy. There.
Yeah, I know, some sort of portal right here. So I don't know if he opened the portal for them to come out of. Kind of cool. And then this is the 30th one. He just did 30. So
yeah, I just did 30. So
and I don't know what this one is either, to be completely honest with you. But still another still kind of like a spacescape. You got these spaceships right here heading towards this space station or whatever the hell this.
That is Vorga.
Vorga. Okay, yeah. Striving towards oblivion. So I still kind of like the word mark. It's done in kind of like a hurricane,
right?
Vorga, kind of like a vortex pattern. So kind of like a vortex pattern. The stars are a little bit more abstract. Of course, this whole this one is more abstract than let's say like more abstract than say like this one.
Yeah. Then right.
But still kind of like a space scene, outer space, spaceships, planets.
That ship like flying in toward he's flying in toward the fires and stuff. So I don't know if he's there to try to rescue them or whatever. But
yeah. So, but still very, very well done. But we kind of like defy anybody. Show us a genre of music that does album covers better than this.
Right.
And good luck with that. Yeah, because like I say, he just did like these 30. Like I say, not.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was probably 50 or 60 I could have put on here.
Yeah, but there were so many. I'm not going to close that yet, but we are going to. There we go. So yeah, that was. Yeah, you're gonna be hard pressed to find better artwork being done than in the hard rock and heavy metal genre. Speaking of albums, there is the playlist for
best of 2022.
The best of 2022. Yep.
So, but there's like 3 hours, and it's a little bit longer than our normal playlist, but I think there was like 43 or 45, or I don't know, something.
Yeah, something well, like I mean, yeah, well, you also were covering the year. A whole 12-month period. So there you go.
Like I said, that's not everything I could have put on there either. We're just trying to make it as listable as possible. And a lot of people don't want to be in a car for 5 hours listening to this.
Right. Yeah. Well, Kayla and I are leaving for Michigan tomorrow night, so that may. I actually started listening to this playlist on the way home from work yesterday. So I actually started listening to it, but. Cool. With it being, a little over 3 hours long, we'll probably put it on, and because we got a 10-hour drive up to my mom and dad's house, so we'll have plenty of time to listen to some music, which will be nice. And then we're coming back on the 6th, which is a Friday. That way I'll be back for next week's show.
Yeah, cool.
So on the way back down, going to be coming back on a Friday, which is new release day.
Yeah,
probably try to knock out like 3 or 4 albums on the drive home. So
yeah. I gotta take a break real quick. So
okay,
coffee and water, man. So.
Hey, there you go. All right. Well, that's fine. You go ahead. So yeah, I'm actually not super duper surprised that he had to take a bathroom break, because I was actually sitting here, while we were doing this, I was sitting here watching him drink that coffee, thinking to myself, he better slow down or that's going to come back and bite him in the ass. And, lo and behold, there you go. So So yeah, not exactly sure because I really wasn't really prepared for that a whole lot. Well, I can talk what I'll do is I'll talk real quick about the albums that are coming out next week. And I'll go back over this again when he gets back in here. There's only heavy metal or heavy music HQ rather is only showing for this coming Friday, January 6th. There's only 8 new albums that are showing here, and 2 of them are EPs. So I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I can't really talk about anything else because I'm not going to do my album review yet. I'm not going to do the year, our countdowns yet, and our theme of the week. So, it kind of caught me off guard a little bit here. But coming up on the 6th, we have Anti-Flag with Lies They Tell Our Children. Born a Ghost with Stairway to an Empty Room. That's an EP. We have Junon Kayenon with Superpowers on the Dance Floor. We have Cornmo with Vandring. We have Serenity with Memoria. That's a DVD and CD combo. We have Sons of Cult with Back to the Beginning. Throat Locust with Drag Through Glass. That's an EP. And Varmia with Prologue. That's also an EP. So I take it back. There's actually 3 EPs. So I was just real quick. I was just letting everybody know what the new releases were going to be for this coming Friday. There's only 8 altogether. 3 of them are EPs. So, Just did a real quick filler right there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no big deal.
And as Ric Flair would say, "Woo!"
There you go.
I feel better.
Yeah, like that old Rolaids commercial. How do you spell relief? You know what I mean?
PISS at this point. All right, man. I guess.
So yeah. Well, do we want to do before we get into like the year-end countdown?
We're going to do our theme. The theme.
I was about to say we do the theme of the week. Then I can knock out my album review, and then we save the countdowns for the end. Yes.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, that sounds like a plan. Okay.
All right. Our metal theme of the week is emotions.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, put the emotion on it.
Yeah.
Stephen,
why are you so fat?
Oh man. Emotion lotion.
God. That's something completely different.
Oh, it is? Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
It is. It's a different show. All right, so I don't remember. I got real carried away with this one. So I think I was down to like 15 or 16. I was like, oh shit, I gotta stop. But
I stopped myself at 19.
Yeah, so I didn't like go through Encyclopedia Metallum or nothing with this one because I kind of got it all done with stuff that I kind of knew.
There you go. That's cool.
So, but I actually think this may be one of our best playlists that we've done. So,
ooh, that's actually pretty lofty praise because we've had some really good themes.
Yeah, but once we'll see. I don't know what you got. You don't know what I got. We'll put it all together and see see what we think at the end. So
that's true.
This is one of the segments where we don't communicate with what we do. So
right.
So we like to surprise ourselves too. So
yeah, we do.
All right, so my contribution for the metal theme of the week, emotions, started it off with Metallica, Sad But True, from, of course, Metallica 1991.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got Megadeth, Angry Again, from the Hidden Treasures album in 95. I went back a little ways with this one. I went back to Whitesnake, Crying in the Rain, from 1987's Whitesnake album.
Nice.
Then I got Bring Me the Horizon, Happy Song, from That's the Spirit 2015. Then I went with Mudvayne's Happy from Lost and Found 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got Godsmack's Crying Like a Bitch from the Oracle 2010.
Yep.
Then I got Fit for a King, Pissed Off from the Death Grip 2016 album. Then I got Pantera's This Love from Vulgar Display of Power 1992.
Nice.
Then I got Killswitch Engage, Arms of Sorrow from As Daylight Dies 2006.
Nice.
And then I got 9 points, I Don't Care, from the Ruthless EP 2021. So I guess that's a pretty standard emotion these days. But
yeah.
Then I got the Machine Head's Aesthetics of Hate from the Blackening 2007.
Yep.
And I got Bullet.
And I actually just came up with a 20th one right off the top of my head.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Then I got Bullet for My Valentine, Tears Don't Fall from the Poison album in 2006. Then I got Testament Love to Hate from Souls of Black 1990. And then I got Death Angel, Into the Arms of Righteous Anger from Relentless Retribution 2010. And then I got Motionless in White, Synthetic Love from Infamous 2012. And then last I have Ice Nine Kills, The Product of Hate from The Predator Becomes the Prey 2014. So.
Very nice. We do have 3 doubles, but that's not that big a deal. Okay, hold on just one second, because like I say, I thought of one just off the top of my head to make 20. All right, so for my contribution to the playlist this week, I'm gonna just knock out the doubles right off the bat. I had Angry Again by Megadeth. I had Aesthetics of Hate by Machine Head and Sad But True by Metallica. Then I went with I had No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne off of the album of the same name from 91. Then I had Pure Hatred by Chimera off the Impossibility of Reasons from 2003. Then I had Fucking Hostile by Pantera off Vulgar Display of Power from 1992. Then I had Rage Absolute by Annihilator off of All For You from 2004. Then I had Fear Campaign by Havoc off of their album 5 from 2020. Then I had Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden off of the album of the same name from 1992. Then I had... Oh, sorry, someone just texted me. Then I had Night Terror by Hellfire off of Metal Masses from 2016. I had The Death of Passion by Nevermore off of Dreaming Neon Black from 1999. Then I had Terror Zone by Creator off of Coma of Souls from 1990. Then I had Crime of Passion by Saxon off of Into the Labyrinth from 2009. They had Psycho Terror by Rage off of their album 21 from 2012. Then I had Love Dump by Static X off of Wisconsin Death Trip from 1999. Then I had New Colossal Hate by Lamb of God from their self-titled album from 2020. Then they had True American Hate by Testament off of Dark Roots of Earth from 2012. Then I went back a little ways for a couple. I went with Wasted Love by Grim Reaper off of Rocky to Hell from 1987. Then I went back a little further from one of the only Kiss songs. There are a few that I really like, but I went with Love Gun off of the album of the same name from 1977. And then the one that popped into my head, I went with No Me Importa, which is I Don't Care from In This Moment from The Ritual from 2017.
Like I said, that's going to be a pretty damn good playlist.
Yes, it will. Yep, that's gonna be a good one. We'll get that one compiled and collaborated on, and we'll get that one posted for you guys. We'll try to get it posted by the end of the day. That way you guys can have it for all your New Year's Eve parties, because we know you guys will want that. So, so there you go. That is the theme of the week.
Let me throw last week's up here. I forgot. So
okay.
Take me just a second. Let's see.
Yeah. All right. So we'll switch that one out. So, yep, the one for the weekly playlist is up on the screen now. We're going to substitute that for last week's theme, which was machinery. That was still a very good playlist.
Yeah, it was. I've listened to it twice. So.
Yeah. All right. So there is last week's theme of the week playlist. That is machinery. Just a reminder that if you go to Spotify and you search for Metalheads Unite, you'll be able to find Jason's weekly playlists, our theme of the week playlists. You know, there is plenty of music to listen to. That is for sure. So,
yeah, like I said, we'll start going through some of that weekly stuff and narrowing it down so I can add next year's stuff into it. But I'll keep at least the last couple months up. So,
yeah, kind of like get rid of 1 month as we're like get rid of.
Because
January. January 22 is.
Yeah, the playlist kind of you're gonna have some of the same songs on sometimes, but a lot of the new, a lot of times, like at some point I wound up going and putting once we went to the Heavy HQ, I wound up putting a lot of the newer stuff on the list. So it kind of became a hey, this is new this week playlist. But for
the new release singles and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then of course, I had the best of kind of playlist, but and I feel bad because there's one album I did not add to my list down here that for my honorable mentions that I will do real quick because I want to make sure I give all of my props out there. So,
of course.
Let me write that real quick. Forget.
Well, like Slipknot says, before I forget.
There you go. Yeah. So all right. Well, I guess we will get into this thing real cool. Not real quick, but
Well, before we get to the year-end stuff, let me go ahead and knock out this album review real quick.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Like we said, the list wasn't super duper long. There was a lot of re-releases, so I just kind of, I didn't do anything different than we normally do. We take a shot in the dark and we try to do an album by a band that is new to us. And this week was no different. The album that I chose was the album Clandestine Theurgy by a band called Nocturnal Departure. They are a black metal band. They were formed in 2017 in Winnipeg, Canada. Their lyrical themes include anti-Christianity, rituals, Satanism, and evil, as you could guess by them being a black metal band. Their lineup consists of Ilartha on bass, Cryptus on drums, Funeror on guitars and vocals, and Necrogeist on guitars. This is their third full-length album. Their debut album, Cathartic Black Rituals, came out in 2019, Worm Moon Offerings in 2020, and the new one, Clandestine Theurgy, yesterday. The new album is 9 tracks long, 39 minutes and 36 seconds in length. This is kind of ironic because in doing my research for, obviously the end of everything for the end of the year, it just so happened, and I can't remember the name of the album right off the top of my head, but it's kind of ironic that I did this album for my last album review for the year because my first album review of the year got a 1 out of 5 rating, and so does this one.
Oh God.
Yeah. This one, we all know as metalheads how a lot of people who don't listen to metal always give heavy metal a bunch of shit about it being just a bunch of noise. And I can't understand what they're saying. It's all just a bunch of noise. Well, this is the type of album that kind of like reinforces that negative stereotype that people have about heavy metal. I don't know what. First of all, the mix was garbage. The mix was absolutely garbage. It was fucking flat. It was terrible. The mix was flat. And I don't know. These were probably, without going back and like listening to everything because I didn't have time, this is probably like the worst vocals I've heard all year. I don't know what this guy was going for as far as his vocal style, but it's not the typical, death metal, like deep gutturals. Didn't get any of those until track 7. So I don't know what this guy was trying to do, but it was like this Danny Filth level kind of shrieking, raspy, just, so I don't know what the hell he was going for, but it sounded fucking terrible. And there were literally some, there was not one word I understood out of the entire album. But even having said that, I know there were some moments during the album where he wasn't even trying to sing words. He was just making noises with his mouth. Because you could tell that there were certain instances that there was no cadence to the noise he was making. There was no modulation. There was really no change in his in his tone at all. He had this monotone, guttural shriek that he was doing the whole time that sounded terrible. It almost sounded like the same drum line throughout the entire 39 minutes. there were very, very few moments where like the guitars sounded any different. Overall, it was just a boring album that sounded awful. I mean, I hate to say that, but I mean, if I'm doing an honest review, that's just how that's just how I see it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel bad. I do. I feel bad, but at the same time, I mean, that's just. I know it may come off harsh, but I didn't like this album at all. I mean, like I say, it wasn't mixed well. I don't know what the hell is going on with the vocals. And I'm used to listening to death metal and not being able to understand the words. That wasn't the problem per se. It was just that style was terrible. It was terrible. And so this band, even if they don't change their vocal style at all, they got to come up with some diversity in their tempo, their drum lines, their guitar riffs. They got to come up. They need some more diversity in their musical compositions. I mean, you talk about there were moments where I thought I was listening to the same song. I looked down and the track title had changed.
Oh my God.
I couldn't keep track from one song to the next. Everything sounded so damn similar. So, so yeah, not exactly the album review I wanted to give, at the end of 2022, but hey, you know what? There it is. So,
well, I said you got to be honest with it. So
yeah. And like I say, I know, we've said before that we're not huge death metal fans, and black metal is probably one level up from just the run of the mill death metal, if death metal can even be run of the mill. So I know we may have some black metal fans out there who are probably flipping off their screen or their phone right now, and that's fine. That's fine. If there are fans out there, that's totally fine. I am just one dude giving his opinion. So I'm giving it a 1 out of 5, and some people may think it's their album of the year. That's how this opinion stuff goes. That's fine. Man. That's fine. If you disagree with me, that's 100% fine. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So there it is. There's mine. My opinion, not my asshole. So
that's your asshole.
That's a different platform altogether, and you have to pay $19.99 a month.
Yeah, there you go.
You want to pay $20 a month? We can work something out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's crazy.
So I guess we are. I mean, we're literally to the end of 2022. So I guess we're down to the end here.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess I'll go through. I don't know. Did you do a top EP? I did 5 EPs.
I did top 5 EPs. Top 10, I did top 5 EPs, top 10 albums, and I did my top 10 songs of the year.
Oh, you did top 10 songs? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. All right.
So yeah, I figure we could do the EPs, then the albums, and then I'll just run down my favorite songs from the year.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see here. My top 5 EPs. What did I do with it?
And obviously, in keeping with the New Year's theme, we'll try to go from we'll count them down.
Yeah, we're doing the countdown. So on these, so
yeah.
My top 5 EPs of 2022. I had number 5. I had Rage, Spreading the Plague. Number 4, I had Ashes Rain, Mountains Echoes, which, Vinny was on the show earlier this year. So number 3 was Left to Suffer and Dying Forever. Number 2 was Halo Scars, Remnants of Decay. Of course, those guys were also on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then my number 1 EP of 2022 was Malice Dextra 3 Part 1. So,
all right.
You go.
Yeah, I need to listen to that one.
Oh, that's so
I do.
fucking good, dude.
I need to listen to that one. All right.
It was the only one that I had that I listened to that I hearted every song on that.
So, see, there you go. That works. Yeah,
that's how I went back and rated them. So
yeah,
actually moved it because I had forgotten how good it was. I had like all the other 4 listed, and I thought I had it in order, and then I was like, oh yes, I forgot about this one, so I had to re-listen to it. And I was like, I hearted all 4 of these. So
yeah,
So there we go.
Yeah. All right. So then my top 5 EPs of the year. Number 5, I had Mourn the Dying Light by Darkened. That was a January 7th release. Then on number 4, I had Erase by Lumberhead. That was a February 25th release. Then number 3, I had Nuxu Cow by Bleed Like My Lee. That was an August 12th release. Then number 2, I also had Remnants of Decay by Halo Scars, September 17th release. And my number 1 EP of the year was Mountains Echoes by Ashes Rain from May 6th. So
we had a lot of the same ones in there.
Yeah,
just different ratings. Okay.
Yeah, we did. And I am going to make it, because this is going to be year 3 of the show that we're starting on.
Yeah.
The last 2 years of the show, I'm kicking myself because I didn't devote as much time to eat the EPs as I had planned to.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to make damn sure that I have the EPs better. Of course, I'm still happy with my list and everything, but I still wish I would have listened to more EPs. So I think I kind of maybe shortchanged myself a little bit, not to the quality of my list, but I still feel like I should have listened to more. So that's one thing I'm going to focus on for next year.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. So I tell you what, let's do the albums of the year last. Let me go through. Well, no, I don't want to do that because it may give away. I'll do my songs of the year at the very, very end, because I don't want to potentially give away any part of my albums of the year list.
Okay. Oh, man.
I'm doing shit on the fly here. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was actually looking up stuff real quick, but I'll go back. So just to let you know how extremely hard this was.
Oh, Jesus.
These are my honorable mention albums. Like, these were the albums that I narrowed down that were in the talks for top 10, and then I picked my top 10. So, so this is the pile that I compiled before I narrowed it down to 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I had Hexed, Pagans Rising in there. These are honorable mentions. So just keep this in mind when I say some of these albums.
Right.
So Hex, Pagans Rising. I had Megadeth, The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. Disturbed, Divisive. Devil's Hush. The Defaced, The Charlatans. Cage Fights, self-titled album. I had Soulfly, Totem. I had the Municipal Waste, Electrified Brain, which I thought was a great album.
Mm-hmm.
We had Slipknot's The End So Far. I had Asylum, Tyrannicide, Trauma Awake, Confess, Revenge at All Costs, Avarice, White Elephant, Insight, Wake Up Dead, Korn, Requiem, Line the Tide, Hollow, and then Queensryche's Digital Noise Alliance. So these are my honorable mentions. So if that tells you anything about how quality we had of music this year, it's and like I said, it took me. And I still like second guess myself on a couple of these, but I'm just like, fuck it, man. I'm going with it. It is what it is. As much as I love a lot of these albums, I just had to, do what I had to do. So. And I wish we had the drum roll, but
yeah. Here's what I love. Here's an example of what I love about our show. The way we do this is, there are certain, like you said, there are certain things that we touch base on before the show, the news articles and, and the album reviews and stuff like that. That way we don't listen to the same albums. But what I like about, because obviously the theme of the week, we come up with a theme and then we just run with it.
Right.
But your honorable mentions are a perfect example of why I love the way we do this show, because we don't necessarily always listen to the same stuff,
right?
Because whether it's time or stuff like that, like the albums that you review, I may not necessarily get to, and then vice versa.
Right.
So we have the potential to have completely different stuff on our list, because okay, I did a review of this album and it was so good it made my list, but I may not have had time to get to it. So your honorable mention list is incredible.
Yeah.
Because I didn't put together an honorable mention list, but neither one of us had Disturbed. Neither one of us had Slipknot.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane that neither one of us
Mm-hmm.
had Slipknot or Disturbed on our top 10 lists.
Mm-hmm. Because you're thinking about so when I was doing this, I was like, okay, how great are all these albums front to back?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so how many of these can I just power through and listen to and not worry about skipping anything?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look at. Like, you know, as great as the Slipknot album was, and as great as the Megadeth album was, I just did not. There were songs on there I could be like, I could do without. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the very first track on the Slipknot album, that Adderall song, I didn't like that I didn't like it.
I was like, God, don't start out like this.
I know. I was like,
luckily, fortunately, it got better. So,
it did get better. But yeah, so exactly. But I mean, but it's still it is still a barometer for the quality of the music from the year as a whole. When Slipknot's album doesn't make either one of our top 10.
You're right. All right, so drum roll. This is my top 10 list.
Best I can
for albums of 2022. Like I said, this is just opinionated, and so. But this is what I narrowed it down to anyway. So number 10, I had Creator, Hate Uber Alles. So if that tells you anything, you had Creator at 10. So and number did you freeze on me, or are you just not moving?
I'm not moving.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, am anybody listening?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was just like, fuck, did I freak?
I am listening intently.
Gotcha. Number 9, I had one of our guests, Extinction AD, Culture of Violence, so he don't kill me for not having him in our top 10 list.
Right.
Then number 8, I had Bleed From Within, Shrine. Oh my God, this album was so fucking good. And then number 7, I had another one of our guests, Source of Rage, Witness the Mess. Such a solid album. Like I said, every one of these albums were fucking solid. It's really hard to try to justify any of these not being the top album. But number 6, I had The Halo Effect, Days of the Lost. Number 5, man, I can't, like, this album was so fucking good. I wanted to rank it higher, but I just couldn't because of the other 4 albums I had above it. But number 5, I had Hellfire, The Reckoning. Man, that album was so fucking solid, and their fucking guitarist is so underrated. Like I said, it's one of those thrash bands from the Bay, though. So I mean,
keeping that sound alive, man, keeping it alive.
Number 4, and even though it's kind of an album on top of an EP, I still loved everything about it. Number 4 was Machine Head of Kingdom and Crown. My number 3, probably one of the best thrash albums I've heard in a while. And of course, seeing them in October just kind of set the bar. So number 3, I had Eyes of the Living, Fear Comes Knocking. Number 2 was probably one of my favorite albums of the year, Parkway Drive, Darker Still. And then my number 1 album of the year, front to back, was Lamb of God, Omens. So there you go.
Nice.
And I really liked Lamb of God's because I feel like they, on the self-titled album, I feel like they kind of ventured out of what they're normally doing, and then they kind of went back to their, sound with this one. So it's kind of like
Randy absolutely sounded great on that album.
He did, yeah. So,
yeah.
So there you go. That's my top 10 list. So
we definitely had a lot of the same ones, just different order.
Well, I mean, that's kind of understandable. So.
Yeah. And then the funny thing is like some of the ones that you had on your list, I was like, yeah, I could see why it was on there. But yeah. I mean, I can't. The funny thing is, I don't disagree with your honorable mentions. I don't disagree with any of your top 10. Well, there's a couple of them I disagree with only because like I say, there was a couple I didn't get to listen to, but I say, that's just going to happen. All right. So my top 10 albums of the year, starting off with number 10. And so Rick doesn't kill me. I have Culture of Violence with Extinction AD. Came out on March 18th. Then I have this one a little lower than you did, but that's just because of the way I saw the other ones. It's definitely, I had number 9, I had Fear Comes Knocking by Eyes of the Living, came out February 25th. Number 8, I had Hush by Devil, came out May 27th. Number 7, I had The War to End All Wars by Sabaton, came out March 4th. Number 6, For the Exact Same Reason as You, not in the exact same spot, but for the exact same reason as you, I have Of Kingdom and Crown by Machine Head. And if that tells you anything, if I have Machine Head's album at number 6,
right,
the way I see my top 5, I had Pagans Rising by Hexed, came out September 30th. That album, I mean, from front to back, just
it's like I said, it was hard. It was hard, even like not putting my honorable mentions.
I know.
I mean, that's why I had to like at least mention it, because they were so good. It's like, like I said, that just tells you about the quality of music that came out. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's definitely because you have the honorable mention list. It's definitely by no means, because you have all these websites that are throwing like 25, 30, or 50.
Oh yeah,
we're narrowing it down.
10.
We're doing 10.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely, if someone is like at 11 through 20, I mean, that's definitely no disrespect to anyone at all. I mean, it's a testament to it's a testament to the people, like you say, who were on the honorable mentions list. It's absolutely not a slam by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
So number 4, I had Omens by Lamb of God, came out October 7th. Like I say, Randy fucking sounded phenomenal. Number 3, you may disagree with me a little bit on this one, and that's fine, because that's, like you say, that's what opinions are. I had The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead by Megadeth. I love this album from front to back. I know that there was you could say there's probably a small valley right there in the middle of the album, but even having said that, Kiko's guitar work on the album was fucking stellar. So it was almost like Dave kind of like let go of the reins. It was like, Kiko, just fucking go, and goddamn did he go.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing, is like, that's no disrespect to like Dystopia, because Dystopia was a fucking phenomenal album, but it was almost, for me, it was almost kind of like some sort of renaissance, or I don't want to go so far as to say like a comeback album for Megadeth, because Megadeth's never gone anywhere, but it was almost like Dave on this album was like, all right, I'm done fucking around, as if Dave Mustaine has ever fucked around.
Right.
It was just, for me, from the word go, it was just like 100 fucking miles an hour through a brick wall. So that's why I have it where I have it. Now, these next 2 albums, especially for someone like me who has talked about being a thrash guy and all this stuff, my number 2 and number 1 may surprise you. Number 2, I had Deceivers by Arch Enemy. Came out on August 12th.
Damn, I forgot to mention that one too. Shit.
Yeah. So again,
that was actually another one on my honorable mention. I actually left Queensryche off, and I'm like, fuck, I left that off. And then that was Arch Enemy was actually another one I had jotted down here. So
yeah. So I mean, I've been an Arch Enemy fan for a very, very long time, all the way back to Wages of Sin from 1996, and each one of their albums has gotten better and better. I still think Michael Amott is one of the most underrated guitarists in heavy metal. But then you add Jeff Loomis from Nevermore into the mix. You have those 2 guys just shredding their asses off. The guitar melodies that Michael Amott puts together are so ridiculously underrated and so well done. He's got his own sound. And, Alyssa White, her vocal maturity gets stronger with every album. I do like that they're sprinkling in. They're sprinkling in some cleans now. She's able to bring a little bit of that style that she had for when she was in The Agonist, just showing off the extent of her range, and it adds a new element to Arch Enemy's sound. So I like that. And then my highest rated album of the year, therefore my album of the year, was Malicious Intent by Malevolence. Came out on May 20th.
Okay.
Yep. So there it is.
Cool.
All right.
Not a bad list.
No, not at all. And then my top 10 songs of the year. Number 10, Christmas Truce by Sabaton off the War to End All Wars. Number 9, Hellfire by War Kings off of their new album Morgana. Again, that was a great album that didn't make my list.
Yeah.
Then I had the title track off of The Culture of Violence by Extinction AD at number 8. Then I had number 7, I had Stigma Diaboli by Hexed off of Pagans Rising. Then I had number 6 was Destroy Everything by Eyes of the Living off of Fear Comes Knocking. Number 5, this one may kind of surprise you, off of the Lamb of God album, Omens, but I went with Grayscale. I fucking love that song.
I love that song.
God damn, that song is so fucking good. Number 4, I had The Watcher by Arch Enemy off Deceivers. Number 3, I had Arrows and Words from the Sky from Machine Head off of Kingdom and Crown. And I know that's probably technically a little bit of a cheat because that song came out on the EP, but I could have gone with like 3 or 4 other songs off of the album. But for some reason, there was just some way, it was just some way that song hit with a little bit of the, like, in context, the ballady opening that led into that super duper fucking heavy first riff. I don't know, just something that hit different. So that was number 3. And then number 2, even though I didn't have the album in my top 10 list, my number 2 song of the year was The Dying Song by Slipknot. That song is fucking brutal. Fucking love it. And then my song of the year is We'll Be Back by Megadeth off The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead.
I could probably get on board with that. So
yeah,
between that and like Hellfire's the Reckoning title track, that man, the guitars just on those 2 songs alone make your ears bleed.
Yep. So congratulations to everybody who made the list. And I mean, congratulations to everybody who put out music this year. I mean 2022 was just a phenomenal year for heavy metal. It made for a phenomenal year for us here at the podcast. It made our jobs difficult, but it made our jobs fun.
Yeah,
it absolutely made our jobs fun.
Definitely enjoyable. That's for sure. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we can't close out the year without thanking a lot of our guests that came on here. And Chris, help me if I miss anybody. I think I got most of it, but
all right.
I will say I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I went blank on who we talked to with Devil, but do you remember who we talked to when we were talking with Devil?
Oh, hang on. Because hang on. Hang on.
I remember one of the members wasn't on screen, so I think that kind of threw me off. But
yeah. Well, here's the funny thing about Devil is
we remember Kevin. We remember Kevin, and he wasn't even on the damn show.
That's the thing is everything as far as Devil is concerned just goes back to the fact that all we can think about is Kevin. Why is my hang on a second. I don't know why my phone is running so goddamn slow right now. Let's see. What the bloody hell?
Yeah, I mean, like it's way down the line on my stuff, so I'll try to like get to it if I can. But oh man, it's let's see.
Why can I not find? That is very, very strange.
I got I'm down to the defaced, so it should be close by here. They're gonna kill me for not remembering their fucking names. Like I see their faces, but I can't.
I can too. I can too.
God, I feel so bad.
I do too. Okay, here we go. Hold on.
So we did talk to a lot of people this year, which is
we really did.
It's kind of
okay, why that? I mean, they don't even have their own. They don't even have their lineup listed on their own website.
Oh, you know what? They are. I think they're on Encyclopedia Metallum as Devil May Cry.
Oh, I think you might be right because they actually aren't listed. They actually are not listed on Encyclopedia Metallum as Devil.
Nope, that's not them.
Shit.
I could have swore that was.
Oh my god, this is getting kind of silly, to be honest.
It only shows one band on there, and that's not it. So,
all right, well, go ahead and start.
It kind of upsets me that I can't. I might have to go back and look at the fucking video. I guess. I think we were already on. Well, I think we already had our YouTube set up when we talked to them. I can't remember. I think we only missed like the first 3 bands. I think maybe.
I think so.
Before we realized that our YouTube wasn't being published anymore, which was because of our political partners. Okay, now maybe I'm getting into it here, so I apologize. I'm so
okay.
sorry.
Hang on. All right. No, well, Lewis is their drummer. And Kevin.
Well, we talked to the lead singer and then the guitarist, I think. So.
Yeah. And then we will. Lewis is the drummer, and we know about Kevin.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
We're such bad hosts.
We really are.
I don't know why I didn't think about doing this, but I just go Mark and Kevin. So Mark and Kevin wasn't on the show because I've got my messages now. So
and
that was the day that we did the double show too. That was the day that we did their show, and then we went out to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
we went out to Slamming in the Sticks.
That was at the end of July. So. That's right. That's right. So, it was.
Yeah. So
it was.
So everybody but Kevin and Mark was there. So.
Yep.
Oh my god, I feel so fucking horrible. Good dudes too, man. Like I feel bad because they were such great guys and took the time to go in here, and I can't even remember their fucking name. I'm such an ass.
Yeah.
Let me.
Well, that's what's so strange about it. Like I went to their own website first. And
yeah, I didn't see anything listed there either. So.
No, that's the thing. And I mean, I'm literally Googling like, well, who are the band members in the band Devil? And it's like nothing's coming up.
Yeah.
There's Twitter.
Here we go. What did we say? June? You said it was June?
It should have been.
Oh, you know what? It'll be the one right before the Slamming in the Sticks show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like 6 hours, wasn't it? Some shit like that.
It was 6.5 hours altogether because we did
altogether. Okay.
Because Devil, they were on the show for 3 hours, and that's all we did was the interview with them. That's
Right.
all we did. And then we went out to Lewisburg, or Belfast. And then we did 3.5 hours out there. This is like the weirdest thing.
There's the Eyes of the Living one. Just where we talked to them after that.
This is so weird. All right, we have a Facebook user who has shown up, says Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year to you.
So Sepsis sent out a thing. I think that may be them. I'm not sure. But
okay.
Sepsis did send out a Happy New Year thing. So
okay, it's just showing up as Facebook users. So,
or it could be Victor. So you know how he shows up like that.
It could be. Happy New Year to everybody too, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We don't want to forget that. So.
Absolutely. Happy New Year to everybody. Everybody, please be careful tonight, no matter what you guys decide to do.
Yep. Uber, there's too many like options out there for you guys not to. There
really is. There really is. This is so freaking weird.
Here's a 3 hour and 21. I wonder if it's from Slamming the Sticks. I'm just trying to find that one because then I'll. Oh no, that's a Sepsis interview. Were they after Sepsis?
Honestly, I honestly can't remember of the chronological order of who we interviewed first. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I remember the first three because I didn't. There's Rick.
Well, one of the last was first. I do remember that they were first.
All right.
This is so freaking odd.
Well, I'm trying to like figure out why it's not showing up in my list. All right, so that one was that one. So let's see. It should be right. Nope, that was it. 37. So that should be this one. That was Rick. And the Rick show was about 3.5 hours down. That's crazy that's not showing up on the library list too on YouTube, which is fucking weird. I don't know why.
That actually is pretty strange.
Oh, Dan was on this show with us. That was May 7th. I wish it would show me the fucking dates before I went through all that. Like it just says 8 months ago. So I need a fucking date, man. Like I could have done found it. I mean, it was definitely a while ago. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Maybe this is it. It was the past 2 weeks of metal, so evidently that was from that week.
This is
I'm trying to find the damn. Oh, here we go. No, that was 4 months ago. That can't be right because it was July, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or June?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it was June 25th. Because
that's what it is. That's what it is. Yep. That's what it was.
I still have the thing right there. So,
I'm gonna say that's what it was.
So that, I mean, at least I know what day it was. So,
yep.
Let's see what this one says. God, it pisses me off, and I'm like, drag assing because that's Source of Rage. So I know it was way further down the road than that. So. Oh, the first public. So you were talking about the first public thing right there. So that'd be after that, right?
Well, if I was talking about our first public appearance, that was probably just me promoting it. So it should have.
It was. So that's what I'm saying. Oh, there it is. Yeah, here it is. Here's Devil. Yeah, I feel bad because like his his wife and everybody follows us. I feel so fucking bad.
Oh, I feel fucking horrible. Let's see.
Oh man, their names ain't popping up on the video either. Oh my god.
They didn't quite fit. The chemistry wasn't there. Yeah. So
You go in knowing what you want, but
yeah,
in a case, I mean, you're not exactly like.
Yeah, it's so freaking strange. I'm going back. I'm like going back through.
Yeah, right.
Hey, it's freaking Saturday, man. Have you a barbecue and a glass of wine? Doesn't hurt anybody. Yes, we are super duper excited for today. I know we talked about it last week, and I know I jumped on here Wednesday night for a little bit.
Yeah, their interview is on there. I went back and looked at their Facebook page. The interview is on their Facebook page. It is from June 25th. I mean, we narrowed that down, but it all still doesn't. Still, hang on.
We will be making an appearance tonight at the Slammin' at the Sticks concert out in Belfast, Tennessee. And Octavio made.
Let's see.
Music video, Jesus Christ.
Is that any indication of what that album's going to be like?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I'm actually at this point.
Well, I've actually got it pulled up, so.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of at a loss at this point. It is weird as shit that we cannot find the lineup for this band.
It was Ryan Patterson and Alan Graham.
Hey, there it is.
God, dude, I'm so fucking sorry. So anyway, now that we've got that out of the way,
Ryan and Adam.
So Jesus Christ.
I know.
Gotta love how prepared we are.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, so just to go down the list here, we want to thank John O'Connor from One of the Last, William, Melissa, and Mr. Goodbars from Sepsis, Tim and Chris from Isles of the Living, Marco Cross from Source of Rage, Vinny Carrion from Ashes Rain, of course Phil, Paul, and Chris from Hidden Intent. They were all kind of there, but Paul was. Paul
was camera shy.
Yeah, he was camera shy. Then we have Matthias and Jens from The Defaced. Then Rick Jimenez from Extinction AD. And then we had Stellan and Tina from Hexed. And then, of course, Ryan and Alan from Devil. And then, of course, all members of Halo Scars was on here with us.
So, the whole band.
Yeah, the whole band, which is the first time we ever had that happen. And then, of course, we had Louis Sorens from Avarice. Did I miss anybody?
I think you got it.
Yeah, I think I did, but if I
think you had
so bad if I didn't. So I might have to go back and make sure. But
I think you had.
I want to thank each and every one of those people, and it's so cool that we've created that bond with a lot of these bands too. Because like I said, I still talk to John O'Connor every once in a while, so just trying to keep up to date with what's going on with those guys because I really like those guys, but.
And of course, and One of the Last is also, as far as we know, they're still working on some new stuff.
Yes, he just hasn't. He told me he didn't know if they were going to do an EP or if they were going to do a full length. They're still debating on what they're going to do. I guess it may depend on how much material they build up. I guess, but we'll see. And then of course Tim and Chris from Eyes of the Living. We've actually met those guys out at the Metal Devastation Festival.
Yep.
Man, it's so fucking good, man. It's like we met so many good people on here.
Mm-hmm.
William still hits us up from Sepsis all the time, and it's just like, You know, and the stuff that they do to promote other bands is phenomenal, dude. Like, I don't think you can find another band that promotes other bands as much as Sepsis does. But
no, I don't think you can.
Uh,
Sepsis. The good thing about Sepsis is they're kind of doing with bands kind of like the same thing we are. You know, we're working to working to try to get bands names out who aren't in the mainstream, who aren't like household names and stuff like that. And then so that's what they're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do. And then, you know, we're also, you know, us here at Metalheads Unite, we're working together. Like I say, we, you know, with Dana and with Victor, they also have Facebook groups of their own. We're working together with them.
Right.
Sepsis is working together with other bands. We're working together with Sepsis the best we can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sepsis has actually asked us to do some stuff for them. I know Jason alluded to it earlier in the show, that we would love to do. We absolutely would. Now, whether that stuff comes to fruition, I can't say.
Right.
We want to do it. I'm putting that on the record right now. We want to do it.
Yeah, we want to.
We don't know. We don't know if we're going to be able to. That's the only thing. The desire, that's not the issue. So there's other you know, variables at play there. But yeah, Sepsis, man, they stomp for a lot of other bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which you don't get a lot, but that's
you don't.
Yeah, you know, and it's good to see, like, you know, we talked about Megadeth, talking about taking some bands, you know, younger bands on tour with them going forward, which is cool because I think that's, you know, you're at the point to where I think Dave Mustaine realizes, hey, we're at the point where we're going to start passing this thing along because I don't know how many more albums we have in us. Of course, what they're like 16 or 17 now anyway. So it's like they put out plenty of music. So
yeah,
yes, you know, but you know, I don't want them to stop because I feel like that they're back at the peak of their game again. You know,
I think so,
especially with, you know, man, them Kiko solos on that album, dude. Oh man,
unreal.
And then we have bands like I said, we had bands like Devil that are you know,
we had a lot of guests who were coming off of their debut LP or EP or something, who are just getting started.
Yeah, and then we had bands like Hidden Intent that were on their third or fourth. So it's kind of, you know, the Defaced was, you know, those guys are killing it over there, and I think Hex is probably one of the names that I felt like we already had the interview lined up, and I thought they were getting bigger in the weeks going up to it, which is kind of crazy how like blown up they got in those in that short length of time. So I really think there's big things on the horizon for a lot of these bands. And,
I think,
you know,
so.
Even, you know, Avarice, you know, he couldn't really say anything on the show, but you know, they got booked on that
the Alcatraz
Festival. Yeah. So I mean, you know, that's a big thing over there. So I mean,
huge.
For them to be on that's fucking amazing, man. Like, I don't wish nothing but success for all these guys. I mean, that's why we have them on here, is to try to get them to that next level, to get everybody to listen and promote these, you know, kind of, you know, buy merch and all this kind of stuff from these bands. I mean,
if we have helped at all, whether it's, you know, a couple hundred new fans, a couple thousand new fans,
we did our job. So you know.
Then we've done our job.
Yeah.
Speaking of fans, we would absolutely be remiss if we didn't send a thank you out to, like, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, millions of you.
Right.
It's just astounding to us, the millions of you who have listened to this show, whether whatever platform you listen on, whether you actually, you know, take time out of your weekends to sit and watch us on video. Because like if you're watching us on YouTube, unless you have YouTube Premium, you actually have to keep the video rolling. You can't turn your phone off. So unless you have YouTube Premium, you're actually keeping the video open the whole time. So whether you're watching us on video, listening to us on radio.co, at VOP USA Radio, Twitter, Twitch, that, the other thing,
or just listening to segments of the show. I mean,
right,
whatever, like, you know, because I mean, we understand that we're not going to put out something for everybody to
Right.
listen to
And
the whole 3 hours that we're on most of the time.
yeah, I mean, we're creeping up on 3.5 hours here today. Of course,
Which I mean, it's a
that
year,
only
year in review show.
right.
It
So
was
that
it was going to go long. So
yeah, that only stands to reason. But I mean, we started this thing out with a 2-hour time slot.
mhm.
I could not tell you the last time we kept it within 2 hours. So the
it's
fact
been a while.
it's been a long time. So I mean, the fact that it's
I think
gotten
last week's show even went 2.5, and
yeah,
that was short for
that was short
what we've been doing. So
yes, I mean, we started out with a 2-hour. We started out with a 2-hour time slot with like 20 listeners,
yeah,
and here we are now. We're up to 2.5, 3.5 hours on the regular. We have millions of listeners. That is astounding. So the fact that you guys, wherever you are, we know that we have listeners. We know that we have listeners all over the world. Again, that's fucking astounding. We have listeners all over the world. We have friends all over the world now.
crazy to fathom that.
Due
around
to
the world.
Yeah, due to the bands that we've, like Jason said, that we've hung out with and kind of created friendships with. I mean, we have friends around the world. We have fans around the world. Millions of fans, which is insane. So we want to thank everybody. I want to thank Jason. I want to thank Dan and Tiff, everybody at VOP. I want to thank my wife for putting up with this shit.
Right. Same.
She basically, even though I told her she doesn't have to, I want that on the record too. She sequesters herself in the room while I'm doing this, even though she doesn't have to, so I want to thank her. I want to thank Jason. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody who does anything with this, lets us do it, watches, listens. I can't say thank you enough.
Yeah, it's definitely been a great year, and hopefully we'll just carry this on into 2023. Like I said, we got some irons in the fire for some bands to come on, so hopefully we'll kick off right where we left off. And
hopefully you guys will continue to come along with us.
Mm-hmm. And we may have our first repeat guest if one of the last comes out with a new album, because
that's true.
John already said he'd be happy to come back on and promote that. So
yeah,
and just to reiterate how big this has grown, we've grown from that time when we were talking to him to where we are now. So I mean,
yeah.
So to put that out there, when he comes back, he's going to get just that much more people recognizing who one of the last really is. So
yep.
And like I said, if you ever want to go, like I said, if you ever want to go back and look at that stuff and hit us up, email, Facebook. We got a Facebook page there. We got Instagram. You can always message us there and ask us, hey man, what's this band? Or you got any, recommendations for new, for music, or, we're always willing to do that, because I mean, like I said, that's our main purpose, is to put some new stuff in your ear. So,
and on the flip side of that, send us suggestions, because like I say, we don't have time. Yeah, we don't have time to listen to everything. Victor has pointed us in the direction of some South American bands, because he's kind of got, well, for us anyway, he's kind of got that part of the world, covered a lot better than we do. But between him and his sister Rosemary, I mean, they're really taking care of the South American part of the world for us. So we appreciate them too. So
and Dana and
Krista,
everybody that's been a part of this show for the 2022, we just want to thank you. Like I said, Chris said it best. We can't thank you enough for giving us the platform and to actually do this. And it's something we, like I said, this isn't something we just, stemmed up in the pandemic. It just happened to plan out that way. We haven't talked about this for a while.
We had been.
It was sitting around, like I said, sitting around the fire and listening to the stuff and going, "Oh, who is this?" And then you realize they've been out since like '88. And you're like, "What the fuck?"
Right? Yeah.
So I feel like if we're doing that, then a lot of people else out there is doing that. And I said, this isn't fair to these bands, man, because they're so good. I think they should, people should know them and listen to them. So, but anyway, hopefully we've done our part in getting that done for a lot of these guys. So, like I said, I can't thank a lot of the guests enough, for coming on and taking their time to promote. And I think Rick from Extinction AD was my favorite quote of the year when he said the page manager was like, "Hey, you got this, and this. Which one do you want to do?" And he said, "Yeah." And she goes, "What do you mean?"
All of it. Yeah,
all of it.
Yeah.
I'm promoting a band here, man. Let's do it all. So,
yeah.
And I'm like, that's what you got to be, though. If you're putting yourself out there, you got to make sure you're doing everything you can to get it out there. So, you got to admire that, man. That's and like I said, all these bands, just by talking to them, can tell they work hard to try to get what they, where they want to be.
Yep.
And that work should not go unnoticed. So
no, it shouldn't. And that's another aspect of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And like I said, just we're going to close this one out because I know we've been going a little long here. So hopefully, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know we enjoy always doing the year in reviews. It's kind of kind of reminiscent, and then a kind of a thing going, shit, I forgot about that. It's like, I don't know how many times I did that this last 2 weeks trying to put this together. So.
Yeah, you got 52 weeks of content. You got to sift through and narrow it down into like one or two lists.
And if it makes you feel any better, I'm going to show you a little bit of what I had to go through here.
Yeah, I know you got.
So just to kind of show you, this is what I fucking went through.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Probably it's almost like a whole. Like pack of
a whole ream of paper. Yeah, a whole ream of paper. Yeah.
So that's my 2022 ream.
Yeah. They got to be like in Wolf of Wall Street though. It's like, no, you gotta ramp those numbers up. Those are rookie.
Yeah,
numbers.
Which I mean, it probably will now since like I said, we've got we didn't find heavy music HQ till later in the year. So
that's true.
If we'd have had that in the beginning of the year, I'd probably be a lot thicker. So.
Yep.
Like I said, I want to thank those. Thank all of the other platforms that we pull our stuff from.
Yeah, all of our outlets, even all of them,
even the Loudwire, Blabbermouth, all that good stuff.
Right.
We pull that together so you don't have to deal with list. A lot of people don't have time to go and look at all that stuff. So, and we get it. Like we were there at one point. So,
yep.
So. All right. Well, we'll close this one out, and we'll be back with the first show of the year next year. So,
kicking off year number 3. Yep.
Yeah, and hopefully all of you guys have a happy New Year. Be safe out there.
Please be safe.
Don't drink and drive. There's Ubers and everything out there. Don't drink and drive.
Yes. Even if you have to pony up for one of those expensive ass legit taxis, even if you have to get into a grungy ass yellow cab, just make when you get home, take a shower. Just don't sign any paperwork in there. You may be on Taxi Cab Confessions. That's true. Yeah. It's very true. But yeah, everybody please make it home safe from your New Year's shit. If for no other reason than to just, see January 2nd, so.
Yeah. And like I said, 2022 was a great year. Hopefully 2023 will be better. And we'll continue to do what we do. And,
that's right.
Bring you all the new music of next year. So
that's right. 1 week at a time.
Yeah, 1 week at a time. Like I said, thank you guys for dropping in. Until then, you guys out there this weekend having a good time. Keep those horns out high. And if you're at a show, jump in that pit anytime you can.
That's right.
See you guys next week.
Thank you guys. Happy New Year.